you earned at the end of your first year. Automatically, dollar for dollar, because when it comes to rewards, you can't go wrong with cash back. Finally, rewards that make sense. Discover. Exceptionally common sense. Learn more at discover.com/match. Limitations do apply.
DQ presents the sound of a summer double play. It's the sound of drumstick pieces and peanuts combined with world famous serve to make two all-star treats. The drumstick with peanuts blizzard and new caramel drumstick with peanuts blizzard. Grab one today or get it delivered at DQ.com. Official treat of MLB. DQ. Happy tastes good.
Baltimore Orioles baseball.
Nevin hits this one in the air to center field. It backs up Taylor. Now he's racing back. Now he looks up, and that's gone! An Weaver special for Tyler Nevin, and Baltimore has seized the lead in the top of the sixth. 4-3.
Catch all the action right here on Pirate Radio, the voice of the Pirate Nation.
I can't think of anyone who doesn't love a clean car, but how often do you actually go to the car wash? Does it take too long, or maybe it's just not a very nice place? Tommy's Express changes everything. Our wash is bright, inviting, clean, and fast.
I love the flat conveyor belt. So easy to pull onto, much smoother ride, and safer for my car.
And when you join Tommy Club, you can wash as often as you like for one low monthly price.
I save money and time.
We're Tommy's Express.
At the corner of Greenville Boulevard and Red Banks Road, Greenville. In studio with Jeff Stein from Brown & Wood. What's new, Jeff?
You know, everybody's thinking we're having some inventory issues in the car business, which some of it's true. But the good news is, you know, we're getting vehicles from the factory every single week. So what the customer can do is come in, get an appraisal on their trade-in if they have one. They can pick a vehicle that's incoming and actually kind of build it how they want. And then when it gets here in the next 6 to 8 weeks, they're actually taking delivery of a new vehicle.
Brown & Wood, your #1 dealership in Greenville and the home of the lifetime powertrain warranty.
I'm Michael Vaughn with East Coast Grading and Utilities. Many of you know my dad, David Vaughn, and his work in putting in subdivisions all over Pirate Nation. But East Coast Grading and Utilities is not just for those type of big jobs. We're here for the homeowners. Whether it's concrete, driveways, hauling rock, or sand, whatever you need, East Coast Grading and Utilities can get the job done. Call us at 252-531-7494 or check us out on Facebook at East Coast Grading and Utilities.
Pirate fans, get ready for a winning season and team up with Quality Equipment, your local John Deere dealer and proud sponsor of the ECU Pirates. When you do business with us, you'll get things done right. We're proud to offer a large selection of new and used John Deere equipment, a fully stocked parts department, and a highly trained staff who is here to support you throughout the life of your equipment. So get quality done right before every ECU game day and visit QualityEquip.com. For dine-in or to-go, Familia is your favorite place for great Italian food and more. Familia has just launched a new menu featuring new pizzas like the Sweet and Spicy and the Southwest Chicken. Every Sunday, you can feed the whole family with a buy one, get the second pizza half-price special all day. If you need to unwind after work during the week, stop by Wednesday for half-price wine, and Thursdays, all drafts are only $2. Familia on Fire Tower Road near Pitt Community College.
Have you ever seen those exotic aquariums like the guys do in Las Vegas on television? You ever thought about having one of these aquariums in your business? It's more affordable than you think. This is Hal Pruitt with RentAFishTank.com. We can make having an aquarium in your business turnkey with no work, cleaning, or hassles for you. RentAFishTank.com creates a relaxing atmosphere and keeps children occupied. RentAFishTank.com already services many dental, pediatric, and doctor offices, plus hospitals and senior living centers. Check us out at RentAFishTank.com.
Great food, great atmosphere, and great service is Ottavola Market Cafe. Ottavola is simply a restaurant that focuses on that, being a great restaurant. There's something for everyone at Ottavola. The menu offers a variety of great choices like pastas, pizzas, sandwiches, soups, salads, and seasonal rotating selections. Lunch or dinner, Ottavola is always the right call. Call ahead and get Ottavola to go, or stop by the bar for a drink with friends. It's simple. Come and eat at Ottavola Market Cafe, Red Banks Road next to Food Lion, and OttavolaMarket.com. Ottavola, Pirates supporting pirates.
This is Pirate Radio, WGHB Farmville, 1250 and 92.7 FM Greenville, WDLX Washington, 930 and 104.1 FM Washington.
Can you be quiet, please? Thank you.
Welcome to Pirate Radio Live.
Hi.
Tabua. Aub. What about Aub? Safula.
Cool, neat story.
Was that supposed to be funny? There's local politics, bud.
Don't go over the rules. It'll take forever. Let's just get to the draft.
Let's get the pumping.
I got a little taco meat on my chest.
It's gonna be fun. We in the thick. I mean, everybody gonna be loud. I'm gonna be loud with them. I'm gonna screaming too. Like, yeah, let's go, let's do this. You ready for this? I am.
Now live from the Pirate Radio studios in the heart of the Pirate Nation, here is your host, Clip Brock.
Welcome in to Pirate Radio Live here on a lovely Tuesday in Eastern North Carolina. Clip Brock here with you inside the Pirate Radio studios. We're talking to you today on Pirate Radio 92.7 FM in Greenville, 104.1 in Washington. We're on 1250, 930 online, pr927fm.com, and you can watch the show on Facebook Live and YouTube. Make sure you like the Pirate Radio page on Facebook Live and follow us there for breaking news, stories, and of course all of our videos as this program is on right now. You can find the same over at YouTube. Subscribe to Pirate Radio TV on YouTube. Smash that like and watch us there. Coming up on today's program, we'll continue on with our opponent previews. Today we will talk about the NC State Wolfpack with the color analyst on the Wolfpack Radio Network, Tony Haynes. He's been there a long time. He'll join us to talk about this 2022 group from Raleigh that'll be coming to Dowdy Ficklen Stadium on September 3rd. So looking forward to talking to Tony Haynes and also playing Chandler's Gary Hahn impressions for Tony Haynes and him giving a grade on that. So that's coming up in about 25-30 minutes or so here in hour number one. Hour two, we'll do our first dip. We'll dip our toe into fantasy football for the first time this offseason. Drafts approaching in maybe late July, early August. So we will talk some fantasy football coming up in hour number two of today's show. We will talk to a former Pirate and future Pirate in hour number five. They both have the same first name. We'll talk to Bryce Williams, former ECU tight end, and Bryce Weaver, future East Carolina offensive lineman. He is a D.H. Conley Viking. He committed within the last week, and we'll talk about his commitment, growing up, being a Pirate fan, and what it means to him to be playing in the purple and gold coming up in the future. So looking forward to Bryce and Bryce coming up in hour three of today's show. Shirley Rhodes is here, the big dog Glenn Griffin, C.J. Schaefer. To my left is Chandler Honeycutt. Hello, Chandler.
How you doing, Clipper? Good to see you.
Doing great. To Chandler's left is Jonathan Ellerbe. Hello, Jonathan.
What's up, Clipper? Day off of Shirley Day. How's everybody feeling?
Yeah,
hungover.
I got that Shirley Day after hangover.
You do? Is it still feeling like Shirley Day around here, or is everybody
all the cake Troy D ate really upset my stomach?
Yeah, well, he's not really a dessert guy.
He's not,
and he's not a really telling the truth guy about what kind of food he likes either.
He's not a dessert guy.
Not a hot dog guy.
He's not a dessert guy, but he plugged 3 different restaurants here in Greenville and their desserts that they have.
Yes.
So.
He not a hot dog guy either, and eats a lot of hot dogs. So he's just a guy. He's a guy.
Somehow took over for Shirley Day.
He did.
But
that was fun yesterday.
It's Shirley Day every day here at Pirate Radio.
It is. Thank you for being here, Shirley.
Yeah, really. Anytime she shows up now, it's an important day. She leaves so much.
Wow.
Oh, wow. Really?
Taking a lot of heat off Chandler when you were
Thank God I don't do that.
Yeah. Mr. Bachelor Party over here.
I'll say Chandler has perfect attendance during the summer, so he can get all his days off in football season when we need him.
Yeah.
How many weddings you got coming up, brother?
No, right now it's I'm clear. I do have a wedding in football season, but it's on a Sunday.
You're only allowed to have married friends from now on. You can't. No more single people that you have to go to their wedding.
Give me another year, and I will be there.
A Sunday NFL Sunday wedding?
Would you rather it be on a Sunday when we don't work or a Saturday where we work?
For you, I mean, whatever. I'd rather it be on Sunday. But if I was,
I'm glad that I'm a Carolina Panther fan.
Oh, you're saying it's not good. What's the date on it? Is it early in the season or late?
It's middle of July or middle of September.
A preseason game? You're going to miss a preseason game?
Yeah, but the Panthers are still like mathematically alive in the middle of September.
I'll be checking my phone.
God, man. Who are the people that does it?
Right before I was walking down the aisle for my buddy's wedding in October, I was on my phone watching ECU and Tulane. I watched Holt Naylor's score from the 20. Right, like literally seconds before we were supposed to walk down the aisle.
Yeah, we got to get better at planning these weddings, people. That's tough right there.
Yeah.
All right, anywho. All right, some news today. ECU news, Ellerbe, our good friend Malcolm Gray, is now the head man in charge when it comes to the Sports Information Media Relations Department. Tom McClellan announced he was leaving a few months ago. Malcolm Gray, they hire within, gets the job, and biased, but I like Malcolm. Glad to see that. He's done a great job. So.
I think an excellent move. I mean, Tom McClellan did a great job for a long time, was able to move over to Pitt County Schools for a new opportunity. And obviously, I think staying internal and going with Malcolm, I always enjoy when you have him on Pirate Radio Live. Super knowledgeable when it comes to baseball. Obviously, been a part of the East Carolina baseball program for a long time, but big Red Sox fan, loves coming on and talking baseball with you, but has really been a part of the football.
Yeah, he's been the number two.
Yeah, I mean, like I'm giving him a lot of credit for baseball, but it's not like he's been absent from the football program. Tom's just been kind of leading it, but I mean, Malcolm's been right there in stride with Tom, so I don't think East Carolina's going to skip a beat by any means, and I think a good move by East Carolina, and congratulations to Malcolm.
Yeah, happy for Malcolm. He's been around a long time, not just at ECU, but he was, I believe, a Rose guy before that.
Oh, yeah. Greenville guy through and through. Malcolm Gray, so that was good news today. Surprised y'all never gotten any Conley Rose war words there, Clip Brock.
Yeah, well, I don't know.
Maybe that could be next time you have Malcolm on. Maybe you can bring that up.
He's one of those Rose elitists that we hate so much. I've kind of backed off of that, getting to know like RV and other Rose people. Right. It's hard to like trash Rose and then talk to RV because he's like the nicest guy ever.
Right. So and you're not going to say anything negative about Marvin.
No, you can't do that.
Yeah. So you're kind of bleeding green.
Well, let's not go that far. We will talk to a Conley Viking coming up at 5:00.
That's exciting.
Bryce Weaver, who will be joining the football team next year, but he will have another season of play at D.H. Conley as an offensive lineman, and he committed recently. And much like Malcolm, a Pirate through and through, a Greenville guy through and through. And he wanted to play at East Carolina, and he will be doing that in the future. So we'll talk about his commitment coming up.
Yeah, I look forward to hearing more about Mr. Weaver there and what his talents and skills and abilities and his excitement about putting on the purple and gold from the Viking blue and gold.
Yeah, so I got that coming up in the 5:00 hour on today's show. No other real news and notes East Carolina-wise. Did see yesterday, I don't think we mentioned it on the show, but the final polls came out for all the baseball publications. D1 baseball, maybe the one we follow the closest, had ECU at 13. Which and all the other ones were pretty much in the teens anyway, but pretty much where they were in the preseason, right? It kind of all ended up right around where they were preseason.
Circle. Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's obviously there's only one team that can finish at the top, and all the other spots really don't matter. But hey, look, if you can start there in the preseason and finish in the postseason, then that's a good year, and that's a successful year.
It did not take a linear path, Ellerbe.
No,
it went way south and found its way back up to 13. In fact, we thought it might be higher than 13 for a moment in Greenville a few weekends ago.
Well, at the start of the season, East Carolina was in the polls and of course went 0-3 against Bryant and, still stayed in. And then it took another week before the Pirates fell out. But usually there's a lot of seasons where the Pirates are just kind of chipping away somewhere in there between the 19 and 20 range or 19 and 25 range, staying in the polls. But this year when they fell out, man, it took a long battle. I think they didn't get back in until right before the American tournament, right?
Yeah, right there at the end of the season.
It took a 20-game win streak battle.
Well, before that, yeah. I mean, the 20-game win streak went, on into the regional and beyond that. But it took at least the 14 or 15 wins for them to really make noise and get back into those polls. But certainly a nice honor to finish with a national ranking. And as I said, I mean, there's still a lot of meat on the bone for them to punch other goals of getting to Omaha and who knows, maybe winning a national title.
Ole Miss sneaks in the tournament, wins it all. It's not the Cinderella story that is like a VCU or George Mason run to the Final Four in basketball, because Ole Miss, traditional SEC, it was their first College World Series win, I believe.
Yes.
And so there's that, and the fact that they should have been left out, according to a lot of people. But
NC State fans.
Yeah, NC State, Old Dominion. Those were two of the first four out, I remember, from the watch party.
How bitter the Wolfpack are at the College World Series the last 2 years, huh?
Yeah. They
get bounced in Omaha.
We're not allowed to play. Also showed up to their bowl game in California, and we're told to go home.
Right.
Like hours before the game.
Yeah, I mean,
they've had a rough run.
Ole Miss is a blue blood.
And then their basketball invitation to the NCAA tournament got lost in the mail, I think.
It did. It did. I think it got lost somewhere in like mid-January or February.
Yeah.
But tough times for the Wolfpack. Look forward to Tony Haynes coming up in a little bit when you're talking Pirates and Pack and the football. But, yeah, I mean, Ole Miss, really Tennessee the best team this year. Ole Miss the last team in and wins it all. So, I mean, they were tournament ready and won the tournament.
It was the SEC tournament down there, or up there in Omaha.
I mean, isn't it like that every year, though, pretty much now? I mean, Mississippi State and Ole Miss are the last two winners. And then I think even before that, I mean, who were the Coastal Carolina got one in 2016. I know Virginia got one in 15. But, I mean, if you look at I wonder how many out of the 8 schools over the last 10 years have just been SEC dominated. It seems like the SEC gets half the field in every tournament.
Yeah.
And you just kind of wonder about, the balance in sports, and now with Texas and Oklahoma. I mean, in Oklahoma and Texas were both in the College World Series. So, I mean, there's potential teams to be there in the future representing that conference of the power shift. And I was listening to, I think, the Jim Rome show earlier, that one of the Texas players in football just signed a NIL deal to drive a Lamborghini. So, I mean, the money out there is just ridiculous. And Texas is a school, and a lot of these big SEC schools, and I think I even saw, switching gears, that LSU has gotten like the Vanderbilt shortstop.
They got Tommy White from NC State.
It's like LSU, they got the Minnesota Twins pitching coach to come to LSU
for the same position.
Yes. So, I mean, they're paying, LSU is paying a pitching coach more than a team in Major League Baseball. So, my thing with like these NIL deals is you got all these Texas billionaires that are out there that are Texas fans and supporters that, what are there, only 32 NFL teams? So it's really hard to get in the NFL fraternity to own an NFL team. So if you're a billionaire, an oil man, a billionaire in Texas, you just make Texas University your NFL team, and you're doing NIL deals and buying players and, doing all. How much do you think Arch Manning got to go to the University of Texas?
Yeah, I don't know. How long does this last? Like, at what point do these people, and then maybe they have pocketbooks that never end, but when you pay a college, like a baseball player, like there's no really return on that investment unless it's personal. He makes the pros and like gives you money while he's playing in the Major League Baseball.
It gets back to, I think, my point of like, if you can't get in the fraternity to own a professional franchise,
I hear you.
You can just spend money to help your college team achieve a lot of success. There is no, when you're a billionaire,
you don't worry about getting anything back. You just want to own something.
You get the ego and the enjoyment of like, well, Clip Brock helped us buy Chandler and CJ and Glenn and got us a national. You get the ego boost and probably they're, knowing how smart most billionaires are, they probably track it into some other business adventure where they're making money on the back end or something, or have that player do something for them or do something with the university where they end up making more money. But if you're spending money like that, it doesn't really matter. And when does it run out? It runs in whenever people say, hey, enough is enough. I'm not going to pay college players anymore. But I think
it's their own decision. Yeah.
But I think the University of Miami, I think, is back to the wild, wild west down there. They got Mario. People are just spending money. When LSU can pay more, I'm really shocked that the Minnesota Twins only pay $350,000 a year for their pitching coach, and LSU gets the guy for $500,000. It's just, in a way that sounds, ridiculous to say out loud once you say that, but it's just really weird when a SEC school outbid. You're at professional baseball, and then you're going
the highest you can go,
and then you're going back to have to recruit 17-year-olds to come pitch for you, where really you're just. If you don't like the way Clip Brock and Chandler Honeycutt are pitching, you can look down in AAA or look across the league and try to make a trade and say, hey, look, their mechanics just aren't good, or I can no longer make him throw at 95 miles an hour. But that's a Mike Mullis conversation right there.
You should watch the Twins play. You'll see why nobody wants to coach them.
Disgusting.
Right now, 1-1 with the Guardians in the 7th inning. I've seen a lot of people into times, into days here with the NIL and everything, that now all these schools have the money and they're going to pay these guys and East Carolina can't keep up. I mean, is it really? I don't think it's that much different than it's always been.
It hasn't changed at all, in my opinion.
So I'm not freaking out about it because the big schools were getting the big players before and finding a way to pay them under the table. Now it's legal. What's changed, really?
Arch Manning's list did not change.
Yeah.
I mean, he was going to Texas, Georgia, Ole Miss, or Tennessee, or wherever, like that didn't change.
And there's still only so much room for these players. They're not adding more positions on the field. They're not adding more roster spots. So there's not going to be enough room for all these guys.
I think where it does change is when you go to a school now, maybe you don't transfer because your NIL deal is that good. Unless they cut ties with you through the NIL, like all of a sudden, hey, look, I'm making $1 million a year at Alabama. I didn't really, meet my expectations as a freshman, but they're going to keep paying. I mean, like, I'm not going to go pack my bags because I'm not getting the playing time because I'm still getting my NIL money.
There might be a good part of this, too. We all like the old days when guys stayed at a school and we knew the players, right? Like Armando Bacot from North Carolina probably could have gone to the NBA draft, but his NIL deal's so sweet and he likes being a college guy. He's like, well, hell, I'll go another year to North Carolina.
Right.
Maybe look, there could be a positive to this.
I think it does settle down some things. It depends on, like, if I have Clip Brock under an NIL deal and I have him for $1 million, I'm like, Clip's freshman year really wasn't that great, and I really need to, Chandler, we can get him from Tennessee if maybe I just cut Clip off my NIL deal and I give them, that's when it becomes a business.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we're here.
I know, but that's when all that, but it could go either way.
And then the coach is like, we still want you on the team. And the guy's like, well, I'm not getting paid $1 million by Johnny, money down the street.
What it's come down to is it's all season to season at this point.
You got to accept it.
Yes.
If you want to, be a part of it, watch it.
Spring ball, fall camp, the fall football season, it's all season to season because everybody is looking for a better deal. I've said it before on this show and I'll say it again. Unless you're a school in the SEC or Big Ten, everybody in college athletics or the world of college is looking for a better deal. They're looking to move conferences. Coaches are looking for more different jobs. Players are looking for more opportunities, whether it's NIL deals where they are or elsewhere. And it just seems like anybody can, is the price right? And can I move?
That is what it's about, and
it's really kind of. I mean, honestly, I've said this before too. NBA free agency is 10 times more interesting than the NBA.
Way better.
So it makes college free agency. I mean, it gives for sports radio for what we do.
Yeah,
it's tremendous fodder to have basically free agency across the land, and hopefully as more NIL deals become more public. And I am very interested in what Arch Manning is getting at Texas. Like, what kind of money did he get? $1 million? Did he get $10 million? And who's paying it? Who's he endorsing?
How's his deal compared to the Ewers guy that got all that money to go to Ohio State last year?
Absolutely.
That went back to Texas.
Yes.
Whose locker is more got more diamonds in it?
Oh, and think of when people are pulling up in the parking lot, who's driving what? I mean, I think it creates so many great dynamics. You know how on the NFL Sunday on NFL Countdown when they show the players with their headphones walking in, Tom Brady's arrived at the stadium or whatever. Now it's going to be Arch Manning's arrived. I mean, it's professional sport. I mean, it's caught up to the NFL basically. You want to see what Arch Manning's driving or what.
Some of these athletes in college might be dressing like Cam Newton showing up to stadiums now.
Hey, look, if they want to stand out and get deals, and look, would you dress a little goofy for $500,000 deal?
You damn right.
And if you're angry at maybe you don't call him a kid, the athlete, the football player, for accepting the money, then you're basically just jealous that he's making more money than you are. Because would you take the money if you were offered it? In a second. Hell yeah.
Absolutely.
If you are angry about the situation, be angry at the adults giving the money. You shouldn't be angry at all.
No.
But because it is what it is. But you sitting at home stewing at this athlete for making money If you were offered the money, you would take it in a heartbeat.
It's no different when we all grew up. You had friends with better NIL parents than your parents. You know, you had friends that drove new cars, and you drove a used car.
You
had
didn't hate the friend.
You had friends that went on great vacations, and you stayed home. You know, or you were that person that was. So it doesn't. That's life. That's I wish people would have paid me to go to communication class at East Carolina.
Hell yeah, I would have taken.
Instead, I paid East Carolina to go to communication class. I've gotten a degree, and it's somewhat worked out. So I mean, that's just the way it is.
I wish I wanted that Weight Watchers deal when I was at ECU.
Was that the missing piece?
Oh, the milkshake and
What about a shake wake?
I'd have been shaking it.
So we get you an NIL deal with the fifth quarter shake wake. That's our fifth call.
Shake weight, Ellerbe.
Shake weight.
What I say?
Only people that work out know the real name of it.
Sorry.
So that's me and not you.
F4.com.
All right. Nothing else going on really in the world of sports. Let's talk. If you think of something, let me know. But Ellerbe, I want to know your favorite all-time ECU running backs.
Junior Smith.
He's number one.
Yeah, I think he's number one. I think
it was cool too. And are you talking the entire body of work? He was a coach here.
Yes.
So got to know him as a coach.
He's the all-time leading.
He was just one of those guys. I mean, he was an undersized guy that was an overachiever, and I love players like that. And Junior, I mean, he was in. I mean, a lot of people don't remember he was on the Peach Bowl team. He didn't really play, but it was very cool to watch him grow as a person and a player. I mean, he was one of those just tough guys to tackle. He was that's the point is he was a running back when I was in school for at least 2 or 3 of my years. So I always loved Junior Smith, and I always loved watching Leonard Henry. His burst of speed was just fun. He was in that fun offense with Garrard and those guys, and I always thought Leonard Henry was just tremendous. And he was here not too long ago doing a podcast with Coach Connors, and man, he looks the exact same. I mean, he is built. Now, of course, I heard you guys talking with Troy D. He picked Tony Collins, which he never saw Tony play. But I mean, obviously, as our friendship, Tony's an awesome dude. And I came here in the '80s because my parents, and I remember Ernest Bonner's name, and I remember watching him play, obviously in the pros.
Yeah.
But,
hey, won a Super Bowl with my Washington Redskins.
Yeah, absolutely. But Ernest was like one of those first early Pirates that you could watch an NFL game and be like, oh, he went to East Carolina.
Also came here, Ellerbe, hung out with us. Really nice, awesome guy. So super. That's cool too.
Yeah, but he was like one of those first position players that was in the league that you could really remember because he was with the Browns and the Redskins. Tony with the Patriots. I mean, just the NFL coverage wasn't what it was when they were playing, but I mean, during the playoffs and stuff, Ernest obviously made a name for himself on many levels with the Browns. That he's the fumble, of course, and good, and then redemption with the Redskins with the Super Bowl win.
You mentioned Leonard Henry. Robert mentions another Clinton, North Carolina native, Jarris McPhail, which is a running back that was here, I think, during your time here at East Carolina.
Yeah, so. McPhail was another great name too.
Underrated, Ellerbe. Anybody come to mind for you?
Underrated running back. I'm trying to think. That's tough. I'm trying to think who would have been some of those guys that. Who do you think was maybe the best running back that used to catch balls out of the backfield? I mean, because we had some of those. I mean, a lot of the Shane Carden running backs.
I mean, Breon could catch.
Yeah.
I feel like Tate Cooper could do it as well.
I had Coop as my number one.
A lot of some of them. You can't call them running backs because they were the quarterbacks. We've had a lot of great runners at the QB position that were able to slice and dice.
Chris Johnson was good catching the ball in the backfield.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Pretty good.
We got a running back right now that could do that. Keaton Mitchell. So
Mitchell's that speed and explosion he has is awesome.
Does a running back performance against East Carolina stand out to you?
I went and looked this morning because I heard you talking about this the last 2 days, and have you looked at the people that had the records against East Carolina?
Well, the guy I said might have the record, KJ Harris. Where was he at?
West Virginia.
336
I think he was number one.
I was at that game.
But the Navy, I didn't see any Navy guy on there because I think they must have split it up over so many different
there was
people.
like 7 or 8 guys that had at least 40 yards rushing against us on that day in 2000.
I mean, and you want to talk about quarterbacks running the ball against us. I can't remember what their quarterbacks' names were, but I mean...
They had Reynolds, they had Perry, Dobbs,
And who Who was the last guy? Maybe like 2 or 3 years ago.
Malcolm Perry, I think, was most recent.
Is that the guy that ended up going to the NFL too? Maybe?
Yeah, Keenan Reynolds did too.
Yeah,
so,
but I mean, they would slice and dice. But and D'Angelo Williams was on that list.
He was good.
He was a guy that you knew he was going to be in the league. And
UCF had some good backs over the years. Kevin Smith had
played with Detroit.
Some good games. The USF had Marlon Mack, who's in the NFL. So I mean, we faced some good guys. One guy responded.
Latavius Murray went to
Latavius Murray. Yeah, one guy responded. Andre Brown, and I don't remember if he had a huge game against ECU, but he did have the dagger overtime touchdown.
Yeah, I do remember that. And he stood out because obviously right here from Greenville. So there's been some definitely some talented players that have shredded the old Pirate defense over the years.
We'll talk wide receivers coming up on Wednesday with Stephen Igo, and my all-time favorite is going to be a lot of people's all-time favorite, Dwayne Harris, but I think we'll hear some different answers.
I think
give us a preview of yours, Ellerbe.
I think Dwayne Harris might rank as my all-time favorite Pirate.
He's mine.
I mean, just in general, I think there wasn't anybody that was tougher than Dwayne Harris, and a guy that could do, punt returns and he was just so reliable, and a guy that just kind of really developed in kind of like a typical East Carolina player. Came out of nowhere. Has just kind of made a name for himself here. Had a great pro career. But how deep are you guys going on the position previews? Are y'all doing every position?
Yeah, it's your first time here at Pirate Radio?
No, but I mean, are you doing punter? You have a punter day, or is that like a special teams day?
Been doing this for like 12 years.
Okay.
Long snapper day?
But you haven't been doing these questions, so that'll
the questions?
The questions. That's where I want to know. Who's your favorite all-time long snapper?
Who's your favorite right guard?
Yes.
My favorite all-time long snapper is Wilson Rayner.
All right.
And then second,
your favorite?
Charlie Coggins.
I know you. I mean, you and I have been kind of hogging the position previews. Now you've kind of engaged everybody else with all these questions.
I mean, I'll throw out the questions. I don't know how many answers we're going to get.
Right.
For left guard and long snapper.
Probably want to lump the offensive line together.
Favorite holder, Joe Sloan, probably.
Nick Crabtree.
Okay. See,
Worth Gregory he was a finalist for that award here at ECU.
Okay, that's ridiculous that there's a holder award.
Mm-hmm.
Who's it named after?
I don't know.
The best holder in college football.
It was a thing, and I think John Young also was a finalist for it.
Because we know the punter's got an award, the kicker's got.
Peter Mortell, holder of the year award. So there you go.
I need to know more about Peter Mortell.
Well, I'll tell you what, when we do special teams, we'll tell you all you need to know.
Thank you.
And also with Steve and I tomorrow, we got to talk commitments because Mike Houston and staff firing the cannons over the weekend with a couple of commitments.
Okay. Thank you, Chandler, for that.
And really, Chandler, I'm going to put this on you because you're going to be our special teams guy for football season this year. I want you to go interview the holder on Media Day and ask him about the Pete Mortell Award. And if that's on his list of things to, that's something.
John Young's back, right? Is John Young back? He's our holder.
You think they do a watch list for this? Can we follow Peter Mortell on Twitter? Keep up with this? This is important news.
Is John Young on the roster?
I cannot remember.
I don't think so.
No, I don't think so either.
I don't think so. And if you don't know that, then I don't know if you should be our special teams guy.
Right.
Or maybe I'm wrong.
I'm more focused on the long snappers.
All right, fine.
That part you got to spread out and get more diverse with your specialists. Yes.
All right, Ellerbe, we're about to talk to Tony Haynes and talk some Pac football.
I'll go down to Tony.
Yeah. So what do you think? You nervous about having Tony hear your impersonations?
No, not too bad.
You think he'll ask you to join the
Hey, do you mind if Gary's sick one day, can you come and actually do his
That's actually not a bad idea. Instead of hiring a new guy, hire an impersonator of the previous guy. Carolina, instead of Jones Angel, he does a good job, but they should have got a Woody Durham impersonator. I should be doing Braves baseball right now.
You should be. Let's hear it.
And Acuna to the plate. Swung on, high fly ball left field. That one is gone. Would you rather hear that or Chip Carey's lame ass?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I know he's his son, but I'm his real son.
Let's talk about my 50-year-old son, Chip Carey.
It's like that movie where the president had a stroke or something, so they got the guy that looked just like him to fill in.
That's a good diet. What if Gary Hahn Tony Haynes wanted you to hang out with him and just introduce him everywhere he went?
Well, let's get down. This is Tony.
Have you met my friend Tony?
Have you met my broadcast?
You could be the wingman.
Have you met my broadcast partner, Tony Haynes?
You could be a wingman at the bar.
Yeah, I mean, he could be, like at lunch, you could be like, I'll have the cheeseburger.
Touchdown State!
I'll take the cheeseburger, French fries, and
I'll take the Case IH.
and now the waiter. Let's go down to Tony. What do you want?
I'll take the Case IH French fries, please. The First Horizon hot dog.
Gary, you're gonna ask what I want?
What's the guy's name? I don't even know his name.
My name's Skip.
Hey Skip, what do you want?
All right. Anyway, Luke Larson and David Chapo.
He is the transfer.
Are punters. No John Young.
Wow. The stash is gone.
All right. Ellerbe, good stuff.
Hey, thanks for having me. Look forward to catching you guys next week. Position previews, a couple prices coming up.
We won't see you next week.
We won't talk next week. We'll be a little R&R. It'd be a day after the hot dog eating contest. Heard y'all talking about that on Thursday.
Yeah, I'll let you watch that for me.
I'm a little disappointed you don't like watching the hot dog eating contest.
It's just gross.
Do you watch UFC?
No.
Oh.
You said that was a must on 4th of July.
Oh, I think it is. Yeah. Absolutely. It's appointment television for me.
Is there a comparison with guys stuffing their faces to guys hitting each other in the face? Is that why you asked UFC? Why'd you ask if I watch UFC?
I didn't know if you liked people getting violent.
I don't like that either.
I don't like watching UFC.
I don't like seeing people get brain injuries.
Right. And you think the hot dog eating contest causes that?
Football's different because they're wearing helmets for some reason.
Yeah.
I can stomach that.
And NASCAR too.
Sure, yeah. I love to see a guy flip over 100 times.
They have metal between their brains.
Now, if they had a camera inside the car of the metal bashing their heads, I wouldn't want to see that.
Okay.
But I can watch it from a distance. There we go. All right, let's take a break, come back. We'll throw it to Tony when we return. Right, Gary?
Touchdown State. Let's get down to Tony on the sideline. What do you got, Tony?
You've worked hard to make your business successful, and that's why it's really important to always have a bank in your corner when you need them. This is former ECU baseball player Ashley Capps from First Bank, and our experienced team of local bankers includes Lee Watson, Bonner Latham, Chris Richards, Josh Hooten, and Heath Nisbet. To get the business services that are right for your business today, come and see someone on our team at First Bank on Arlington Boulevard here in Greenville. First Bank, together with our customers, we're creating a world where individuals and communities thrive.
Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
This is Dr. Hasty from Orthopedics East and Sports Medicine Center. Our practice has been caring for the athletes at ECU and the residents of Eastern North Carolina for more than 35 years. Whether it's treatment for your sports injury or it's time for that joint replacement, Orthopedics East provides the latest in operative and non-operative orthopedic care. We also offer on-site physical therapy and MRI services, as well as a walk-in urgent care on the weekends from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. Call us at 757-BONE or visit us online at orthoeast.com. Go Pirates.
Join us at Purple Blossom Yoga Studio, Greenville's premier yoga studio, for our wide array of classes, including restorative, power, hot yoga, and more. We even fly into the weekend with our aerial yoga workshops. New to our studio? Check out our special for new yogis. 3 classes for only $30. Check out our website or social media for all the information and up-to-date schedules at Purple Blossom Yoga Studio. Purple Blossom Yoga, where your health and mindset collide and help you transform to a new you.
It's bow time. If you look closely at a big, bold Bo's chicken sandwich, you'll see it's only made one way. The right way. Marinated, then hand-breaded with bold southern seasoning before being topped with not one, but 2 juicy pickles, creamy mayo, and a toasted bun. Ooh-wee! But don't look too close, or you'll just end up eating it, and we wouldn't blame you. Because, well, it is a sandwich after all. A show-stopping southern specialty that can only be the Bo's chicken sandwich. It's bow time.
University PC Care has been the Pirate Nation's go-to IT expert since 2006. Unfortunately, many organizations today simply react to IT issues after the damage is done. This is known as the break-fix cycle in the tech service industry. University PC Care's Business Services Division has a better way, a proactive solution called BizCare. What's at your office? Call William at University PC Care today to schedule your free BizCare consultation or learn more at universitypccare.com.
At Jimmy John's, we don't make sandwiches. We make the sandwich of sandwiches. We use fresh veggies because we don't hate salads. We just feel bad for them. We make our sandwiches exactly how you want because you're the one who's eating it. And we bake bread all day, every day, because stale bread isn't bread. It's croutons. Sandwich history is written by the victors. Good thing we have legible handwriting. Jimmy John's, the sandwich of sandwiches. Order pickup or delivery on the app.
Lend a helping hand to children and families in your community and become part of our village. Currently serving over 5,000 children and families in North Carolina annually, Youth Villages helps children with emotional and behavioral issues and young adults aging out of foster care live successfully. You can become an ally today by supporting those in your community who need it the most. Go to youthvillages.org/North Carolina to make a financial donation today.
The fireworks start now at Bostic Sugg Furniture. Celebrate star-spangled savings store-wide with low holiday prices throughout the store. Save up to 70% off clearance items plus 12 months special financing. Get the style and comfort you want for not a lot of money. Get the sleep of your dreams on a new mattress with 48 months special financing. There's never been a better time to buy new furniture. Don't miss this star-spangled savings now at Bostic Sugg Furniture.
Pirate Radio.
All of our last names are ECU.
The voice of the Pirate Nation. You're listening to Hour 1 of Pirate Radio Live. This hour is brought to you by University PC Care, your local tech support experts for all your personal and business needs. Visit universitypccare.com to learn more today. Now, back to the show.
Welcome back. Are you in outside sales and looking for an opportunity to increase your earning potential? CopyPro has been in Eastern North Carolina for over 45 years and continues to grow each year, and they are in need of more sales professionals with a desire to potentially make a six-figure income. Do you have what it takes? Visit copypro.net today to submit your resume and to learn more. Now let's head back in to Pirate Radio Live. Here's your host, Clip Rock.
All right, CJ, did I hear breaking news boys have breaking news?
Let's go down to CJ. CJ, what do you got? You talking about what I just read?
Yeah.
Yes. Greenville police say there's a black bear that was spotted in the area of East 10th Street and East Wright Road. I don't know if y'all saw that.
There's a bear on the loose.
This was as of an hour ago.
No, it wasn't necessarily on the loose. It was spotted in that area, but it did not come into contact with any humans. There was no threat to anyone. No. It was just a sighting.
Did the bear say what its demands were?
They caught you stepping out back for a cigarette.
Yeah, I am wearing a black shirt and a black hat.
Now, Shirley, I appreciate you not lying to these people, but I have an agenda personally. This bear is coming for campus. Everybody should run.
Okay.
Should they cancel classes?
Yeah.
Did you put up a cardboard cutout of a bear in the woods to scare people?
Well, okay, let's not get irrational. You said 10th Street and what? East Wright Road. I have no idea where that's at.
I don't either. But
I know where 10th Street is, but
let's lock the door just in case. All right, good information there. Let's head out to the Pirate Radio Live line because we have opponent previews to continue, and let's talk about the first game on the docket this year for ECU. It'll be Pirates and Wolfpack September 3rd at Dowdy Ficklin Stadium, and here to talk about it is Tony Haynes, longtime color analyst on the Wolfpack Radio Network. And Tony, we appreciate your time joining us today on the program. How you doing?
Man, I'm great. Thanks for the invite. I haven't been able to talk college football for months.
Yes, sir, and we're kind of bridging the gap post-baseball. Not a lot going on right now, so we're looking up and down the ECU 2022 schedule, and I want to talk about the opponents and a lot to talk about with NC State, Tony. And I don't know, I guess you got to go back to the maybe the Chuck Amato, Phillip Rivers days for this much preseason hype for NC State. There's a lot of talk about that team in Raleigh going into the season.
Yeah, I'm very reluctant to make predictions in the preseason because there are always so many uncontrollables. Once you get into the season, we see teams that are picked high and then they falter for whatever reason because of injuries or bad turnover margin or something like that. Or we see surprises every year in college football. I mean, if you look at the ACC at this time last season, if you would have told me that Pitt and Wake Forest would have been playing in the ACC championship game, I would have laughed you in the face. So I've been doing this a long time, and I don't get into preseason predictions very much. But if you look at NC State on paper, and the veteran talent that they have returning for this upcoming season, coming off a very good year. I mean, last season 9-3, and didn't get a chance to win that 10th game because the Holiday Bowl was shut down because of COVID, with UCLA unable to play. But yeah, there's a lot of familiar faces returning to the field for NC State, and I know the Wolfpack fans are excited. And what better way to start the season than go down to come down your way and take on the Pirates at Dowdy-Ficklen.
Tony, you've seen a lot of great quarterbacks there play at Carter Finley Stadium, and some of those in the NFL right now. What makes Devin Leary so good? Why are folks so excited about another year of Devin Leary? What does he kind of do to separate himself?
Well, the physical measurables are great with Devin Leary. I mean, he has a fantastic arm, but as we know, being a successful quarterback, there's more to, if you're going to be a really good, consistent quarterback, you got to have more than a shotgun cannon with your right arm, as we know. I mean, I think back to the best quarterback I ever saw at NC State was Phillip Rivers. And Phillip wasn't blessed with the strongest arm. In fact, for a couple of years, he struggled with his mechanics, kind of had an awkward throwing motion. But as we know, not only did Phillip Rivers become one of the greatest quarterbacks in the history of college football, I mean, by the time he finished his career, he was number 2 on the all-time passing list at that time. And then he had that long career in the NFL. Although he got away with not having a strong throwing arm, he did know where to go with the football, however, and he got rid of the ball quickly. He was able to go through progressions and read defenses. So that's where Devin Leary needed to land in order to become a successful quarterback. I remember when Leary came to NC State as a freshman, you know, he was the all-time passing leader in the state of New Jersey as a high schooler. But when he got here, he had to learn the hard way. It's more than having a strong arm. You know, he'd try to force the football in. He'd try to throw the ball through tight windows, and all of a sudden you see the ball get tipped in the air and intercepted. And, you know, he wasn't ready to play as a true freshman. They redshirted him, and you'd see him in practices and scrimmages. It was feast or famine. He would have great moments, and then he would try to force one, and before you know it, he was turning the football over. So it was a great marriage for NC State when Tim Beck a couple of years ago arrived as the offensive coordinator. And Tim Beck and Devin Leary have worked together very well. And Beck has taught Devin Leary how to take those tools he possesses physically and become the best quarterback he can be. And now he's not forcing the ball into tight windows. He does a good job of going, looking at the defense and doing the things that he needs to do to read the defense and make the proper throw and go to the right receiver. And now you've got the combination of his physical skills and his physical strengths, but he's also got a great mind to play the position of quarterback. And number one thing you got to do is take care of the football. Remember I said when he came as a freshman, he wasn't doing that very well, but look at, kind of look back at what he did last year. I don't know that any quarterback in the country had a better interception to touchdown ratio. He had 35 touchdown passes and only 5 picks. That's pretty amazing. When you go through a 12-game season, you only have 5 interceptions.
Talking to Tony Haynes, should be a great quarterback battle between Devin Leary and Holton Ahlers September 3rd at Dowdy-Ficklen Stadium. Tony, how about the offensive line and the skill guys around Devin Leary? Is there enough there for a potential special season for NC State offensively this year?
Yeah, it's interesting because I think back to North Carolina last year. You know, the Tar Heels started the season as a top 10 pick, ranked in the top 10, primarily because of their quarterback, Sam Howell. But a lot of those media members who were picking North Carolina as a top 10 team forgot the fact that the Tar Heels lost 2 NFL caliber running backs from the year before. They lost a couple of excellent big play wide receivers. So there was a lot of pressure on Sam Howell to do it all by himself last year, and he didn't have the same level of talent around him. And as we know, North Carolina didn't live up to those top 10 expectations, and it was probably unfair to pick them as a top 10 team. You look at NC State this year, and Leary's going to deal with some of the same things that Howell had to go through last year because he too has lost some pretty talented players around him. You start with the running back position, Bam Knight and Ricky Person. You know, last year they alternated, and between them they had 1,400 yards rushing between them. So they have to be replaced. And then you got Emeka Mezi, who left NC State as the school's all-time leading receiver, and he had great games last year against Clemson and North Carolina, probably the 2 most important wins of NC State's season. And then the big guy at left tackle, there's nobody on the roster that can replace Ike Ekwonu. If he wasn't the best offensive lineman in college football, he was certainly on the short list. He was in the discussion. And then, of course, he became the 6th pick in the NFL draft taken by the Panthers. So, there are some significant losses on that offense. But I think the difference between NC State and North Carolina, if you want to try to compare the two teams, with North Carolina ranked in the top 10 last year and NC State potentially a top 10 preseason team, NC State's expected to have one of the best defenses in the ACC in the country, whereas North Carolina wasn't as strong defensively last year. In fact, they fired their defensive coordinator after the season. So there's so much attention coming Devin Leary's way, but I think what could separate NC State this season could be the defense, potentially a dominant defense if they're able to stay healthy.
And that's the recipe for a great season, putting those two sides of the ball together. And if I recall, Tony, I do remember the great offenses NC State had in the early 2000s, and then it kind of shifted to great defenses with Mario Williams and Manny Lawson and John McCargo, and you just kind of couldn't put them together, right, to make a magical run.
Yeah, you have a great memory, and I was there, and Phillip Rivers' senior year, NC State had one of the most prolific offenses in all of college football. But that year they were really young on defense, and they couldn't stop anybody. The next year, Rivers was gone. NC State took a big step back offensively, and they brought in Reggie Herring to take over the defense, and they had the nation's #1 defense. So the stars, as you say, were never aligned, whereas this year, potentially they have a chance to line up those stars properly and have a great offense and a great defense at the same time. And, the key is going to be health. Last year, NC State started the season with arguably the best linebacking core in the ACC, Isaiah Moore, Peyton Wilson, and Drake Thomas. Wilson got hurt in the second game, never returned. Mid-season, Isaiah Moore tore his ACL, and he missed the second half of the season, so it was all up to Drake Thomas, who had a great year. He finished as an all-ACC linebacker. But Coach Dave Doran refers to those three guys as the dream team. And late last year on his radio show, he said, I look forward to coaching the dream team next year. So he gets those guys at the beginning of the season. Hopefully he can keep them together because those three together are really dynamic players.
Tony Haynes joining us on the Pirate Radio Live Line. And Tony, it's great to talk with you because as a radio guy, I've been a sports guy my entire life and grew up listening to the great Jeff Charles here at East Carolina and Woody Durham, the late great Woody Durham in North Carolina, and Bob Harris and Gary Hahn, and Gary Hahn still doing it there in Raleigh, and yourself and Johnny, and while the players and coaches change and the stadiums change and get upgraded, sometimes it's the announcers that are the only constant. So I don't know if you think about it in that perspective, but it is really neat to hear you guys still going in 2022.
Yeah, I think we would be starting our 24th year.
Wow.
This fall. I came to NC State and I started football for the 99 season. Prior to that, I worked with Bob Harris at Duke for 12 years, and I saw some exciting games there because my first 3 years doing this, I joined the Duke Network in the late 80s, and my first year was Steve Spurrier's first year as coach at Duke. Obviously, nobody was paying attention when Tony Haynes came to the network, but Steve Spurrier brought a lot of excitement to Duke football. So those were fun years, and you're right, we've had a lot of legends in the broadcast business in our state. You mentioned them, especially those play-by-play guys, Jeff Charles and Gary and Bob Harris and Woody Durham. And I had the honor of working with Bob for many years, and same here with Gary for the last 23 years. And I remember as a teenager growing up in Raleigh, 15, 16 years old, I'd be up in my room at my parents' house, and I'd turn on the radio, and I'd listen to the great Wally Osley and Gary Dornberg calling NC State games. And I would say to myself, boy, would I love to do that job. I mean, it proves that dreams do come true every now and then.
That's awesome. Talking to Tony Haynes, and Tony, with that comes fandom, and our producer Chandler Honeycutt. He does a few impressions, and he found out he did a Gary Hahn, and I'd love to play a little bit of that for you and get your grade on it. How well does Chandler Honeycutt do Gary Hahn? So Shirley, let's hit that real quick and let Tony give a grade on Chandler here.
The Wolfpack has entered the Case IH Red Zone. And that's another First Horizon first down. Let's get down to Tony. Let's get down to Tony Haynes on the sideline. Tony, what do you got? Touchdown State!
All right, Tony. Just a very brief impression there, but what do you think about it?
Well, first and foremost, I appreciate you bolstering our sponsors.
Well, they're said quite a bit, so it's ingrained in his head, I think, at this point.
So when State is entering the Case IH red zone a lot, it's usually going to be a good day for the Pack. That was very good. You've got it down.
Okay, all right.
All of those expressions. I've heard all of those expressions a few times before.
Oh, I'm sure. And we throw it down to Tony quite a bit every day here in the Pirate Radio studios. Tony, while I got you here, a head-scratching season for the Pack on the hardwood last year, and we're big fans around these parts. Don't like his uniform now, but Terquavion Smith, Eastern North Carolina guy from Farmville Central, so we followed him. And Sebron, and we feel like you got a good coach there in Kevin Keats, but for whatever reason, none of it worked out for NC State last season. So, what's the temperature right now heading into this basketball offseason and another year of Pack hoops? I know folks hoping it's a different one from a year ago.
Well, NC State needed to get older because it was an extremely young team last year, and they played like a young team, especially on the defensive end. They really struggled. A lot of different things happened over the course of that season. You know, Cam Hayes, he started the season as the point guard. He thought as a sophomore he was going to be the leader of that NC State basketball team playing the point, but it became pretty obvious early on in the season that NC State was probably a better basketball team with Sebron had the ball in his hands. And so all of a sudden the guy you expected to be your starting point guard, he's coming off the bench. He's the sixth man. And then, of course, really the season went south 59 seconds into the season when Manny Bates injured his shoulder and he walked off the court. And we should have known at that point maybe it was going to be a long year because he was a guy that clearly was going to be one of the more dominant five men in the ACC, especially with his shot blocking prowess. He just changes your team defensively. And with him not there protecting the basket, teams would just drive on the Pack at will, and they didn't have to have Manny Bates to worry about. So, you know, that when Manny Bates left the floor early in that first game, it was pretty clear with the youth in the backcourt that NC State could potentially struggle in the ACC. And you look around the league, so many teams like Wake Forest, they got older in a hurry by using the transfer portal.
Yeah,
and they were one of the most improved teams in college basketball. And so, you know, State has retooled its team here in the offseason, like Wake Forest, dipping into that transfer portal and trying to become an older, more experienced team. And, you know, it's a different day and age in college sports, and, you know, that transfer portal is there for a reason. It's available, and you got to take advantage of it.
Tony Haynes joining us. Tony, great stuff today. Appreciate you joining us, and hopefully we can reconvene the week of the game and preview it once again. NC State and East Carolina, September 3rd, Daddy Ficklin Stadium. Should be a fun one, should be a packed one, Tony, and a great football atmosphere. And, you know, I had a lot of conversations with Jeff Charles during COVID, and we both kind of wondered, you know, would the crowds be back once this thing is under control, and will we ever see stadiums like we've seen in the past? And the answer to that is yes, and I'm very, very excited about that, and that atmosphere on that first Saturday in September this year should be a good one here in Greenville.
Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned that because we won't take that for granted anymore.
Yeah.
You know, we sat around 2 years ago watching games and nobody was in the stands, and it just really didn't seem like college football. It was like a preseason scrimmage, 12 weeks during the season. And now, you know, we got back with the fans coming back last year, and I won't take that atmosphere and that enthusiasm for granted anymore. And I know it'll be a perfect way to start in early September when NC State and East Carolina get together.
Yes, sir. Well said. Tony Haynes joining us today. Tony, enjoy the rest of your summer. Appreciate your time, and we'll chat with you again down the road.
All right. Look forward to it.
Tony Haynes joining us today on Pirate Radio Live as we continue our opponent previews. Knocked out NC State today. Got another one coming up later on this week. Jim Lauk, the longtime and only play-by-play voice of the South Florida Bulls, will join us coming up later on this week on Pirate Radio Live. Let's take a timeout. We'll come back, wrap up hour number 1 here on PRL on this Tuesday. More to go after this.
We have some exciting news at Angel Oak Home Loans. This is Talbot Green, and I would like to introduce you to the newest member of our team, Braxton Green. I've known Braxton his entire life because he's my nephew. He is also a recent ECU graduate and has lived in Eastern North Carolina his entire life.
This is Braxton Green, and I'm looking forward to working with you with your next home loan or refinance. Give us a call at Angel Oak Home Loans today at 751-2060.
NMLS 1719250, Equal Housing Lender.
Be sure to check out David Price Construction for all of your commercial or custom residential renovation and building needs. Run by ECU alumni, David Price Construction specializes in commercial projects, maintenance on facilities, and large-scale residential renovations and additions. Proud to be voted the Remodeler of the Year by the Home Builders Association of Raleigh-Wake County in 2018 and Best Business Commercial Remodel Project winner for 2020. David Price Construction, the proud ECU Home Services partner.
Winslow's Deli is now Fifth Street Hardware, restaurant and tap room. With a brand new look, Fifth Street Hardware also has a brand new menu, serving lunch and dinner every Tuesday through Sunday, and brunch starting at 10:30 on Sundays. What else is new? Well, how about poker every Tuesday night and Trivia Wednesday with DJ Captain Morgan? It's a new look and a new name, but the same great location on Fifth Street beside the State Theater. Follow them on Facebook and Instagram for specials and events. Fifth Street Hardware Restaurant and Tap Room.
Before anyone walks into your business, the outside is what they see. Make sure your first impression is a good impression with the right curb appeal. Hi, this is Daniel Andrews from Dan Andrews Lawn Service. We specialize in making your business look great. Let us handle all your professional landscaping needs. We do it all so you don't ever have to worry. Residential services are also available. Call us today at 717-8006 and we'll come out and give you a free quote. Taking care of your landscaping needs is all we do, and we've been doing it for over 20 years. You can trust our reliable team at Dan Andrews Lawn Service, covering all of Eastern North Carolina.
Hi, I'm Annalie Newhoff.
And I'm Rob Campbell.
And we are with CopyPro. We have been locally owned and operated here in Eastern North Carolina for almost 50 years. CopyPro is the leader in office technology.
Does your business struggle with keeping printing costs low or producing professional documents? Here at CopyPro, total customer satisfaction is our #1 priority.
We have a variety of solutions to help reduce your printing expenses and make your business more productive. Call us today at 1-800-682-6558 or online at copypro.net.
CopyPro, we are the professional office systems people.
When I need jeans, I order online because I know exactly what I want. They have just one moving part, and if there's something wrong, I exchange them. Buying a vehicle, especially pre-owned, is way different. Lots of moving parts. You don't want to get stuck. For a worry-free purchase, visit Phelps Chevrolet. We've been here in town a very long time. You know us. You know we stand behind everything we sell. Phelps Chevrolet in Greenville. Come get you one.
When a storm hits, you can count on Greenville Utilities. They put their emergency storm plan into action to restore power as quickly and safely as possible. If you experience an outage, call them toll-free at 1-855-767-2482. The automated hotline can handle a large number of calls at once, virtually eliminating busy signals, so help can be on the way as fast as possible. Remember, GUC's emergency hotline number is 1-855-767-2482.
Hey Pirate fans, Derek Pizzeni from Carolina Wealth Management. Are you a fiduciary? That's a question every investor should ask their advisor. A fiduciary is an individual who acts in the best interest of a particular person or beneficiary. Is your advisor a fiduciary? You should know it's your money. At Carolina Wealth Management, we do things differently from other investment firms. To learn more about the benefits of working with a fiduciary advisor, visit mycarolinawealth.com. That's mycarolinawealth.com.
Hi, this is Parker Bunch. When I'm not hitting dingers or going viral, I'm listening to Pirate Radio, the voice of the Pirate Nation.
You're listening to Hour 1 of Pirate Radio Live. This hour is brought to you by University PC Care, your local tech support experts for all your personal and business needs. Visit universitypccare.com to learn more today. Now, back to the show.
Welcome back for the latest breaking news, interesting stories, and awesome contests that can make you a winner. Be sure to follow Pirate Radio on our social media on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at PR927FM. Join the over 57,000 followers today. Now let's head back in to PRL. Here is your host, Clip Rock.
All right, wrapping up hour number one. I got a really cool Twitter follow overnight last night.
Terry McLaurin?
Nah, not that cool. One of my one of my current favorite college basketball coaches, not named Mike Schwartz, followed me. How about Ron Hunter, coach of Tulane, gave me a follow.
Wow.
Very randomly. I don't know why. I don't think he'll last long once he sees what it's all about on my Twitter feed.
Especially when we play Tulane in basketball.
But, I told Corey Glore to let him know firsthand how much of a stan I am of Ron Hunter. For you folks that don't know, he is the head coach at Tulane. He's the guy that was at Georgia State when his son, RJ, hit some bomb threes in the NCAA tournament, and he flipped off his little stool on the sidelines. He injured himself celebrating with the team the previous week, so he is my kind of guy. And glad to have his follow for hopefully at least a week.
Brings a lot of energy as a coach, and we saw that firsthand at Minji's Coliseum last year.
Brings a little bling as a coach.
A bling, a nice little jacket that he ended up taking off because I think he got too hot down there because he's very energetic on the sidelines.
Yeah.
Looking forward to Ron Hunter and the Green Wave coming back to Minji's this year.
Pretty good run I'm on here, Chandler. I got Sergeant Slaughter and Ron Hunter back-to-back days. Who will be the celebrity follow tonight?
I don't know. Who do you want it to be?
Matthew McConaughey.
Who do you want it to be?
Nah, he's a Texas guy. Horns down.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's fair.
How about...
Do you think Matthew McConaughey would be like those people in Clark LeClaire that weekend about Be Quiet, the Eyes of Texas?
He would have been like naked in the right field corner doing yoga or something, unaware that a baseball game was going on.
Yeah, that is true.
He'd be the one jumping into the pool.
Yeah, he in the jungle. Yeah,
he'd be beside the Pirate Radio truck.
Yeah, he'd be out there.
All right.
How about a little
Sandra Bullock?
Shirley, who sang the song that went? You say
Lisa Loeb.
How about Lisa Loeb? I want to follow from Lisa Loeb. I wonder if
very random, very interesting request, but I hope it happens for you.
Lisa, I'm gonna see if she's on Twitter. She's verified. I'm gonna go ahead and follow her right now, and I'm gonna send her a tweet and say, "Hey Lisa, I'm on a run. Would you please follow back?" And we'll see how that goes.
I am seeing.
Okay. Since we're doing this
behind the scenes.
Okay, why don't we do this? Why don't each of us pick a random celebrity?
All right.
For the other person.
For the other person?
Yes. For example.
Well, I'm already hitting on Lisa Loeb, so we can do another one.
What I'm saying is, now, Chandler, you pick somebody for Chandler.
Okay.
And he has to tweet out.
And he picks for CJ.
Yep, CJ picks for me.
Okay. And then you pick for me.
Well, you've already done Lisa Loeb. So
well,
we'll do this again. But...
Okay.
Since you've already started. So.
And you have to ask that person for a follow.
Yes.
Say,
and
hey.
It has to be a public tweet. It's not a DM.
Yeah.
Can't slide into their DMs.
All right. Let's take a break so we can think about who we're going to say. And when we return, we'll also, since we're talking fantasy right now, these are fantasies.
Yes.
We'll talk fantasy football with C.W. Sloan, who will join us here in the Pirate Radio studios. If you are a regular from years past, you know we do this in the summer, and we're kicking it off today. A 2022 Fantasy Football Primer with C-Dubs and the crew. We're back with you after this.
Hey Pirate fans, this is Cliff Godwin. Summer is upon us, and I want to invite you to attend our CG23 Youth Camp here at East Carolina University. We will offer 3 sessions of camp. All camps will be held at Clark LeClaire Stadium, and campers will get baseball instruction from the ECU baseball staff and players. Campers will play games each day, and each camp ends with our famous Pirate Slip and Slide. Full day and half day sessions offered. For more information, visit cliffgodwinbaseballcamp.com. See you there, and go Pirates!
The Buccaneer Music Hall is your beacon of music in the land of Pirates and ENC. Open 7 days a week from noon until 2 a.m., the Buck features live music every night of the week. Tuesday is karaoke with DJ Captain Morgan. Wednesday is acoustic night. Thursday is the DJ dance party. And Friday and Saturday nights, it's live bands. Check out the Buck's Facebook or Instagram page for more information. The Buccaneer Music Hall. We'll see you at the Buck.
If you have family coming over this summer, the last thing you need is sweaty relatives. Guarantee your air conditioning system is ready to keep everybody cool. Call Delcor. Buy a new train system and make no payments until 2023. It's hard to stop a train. With inflation and high gas prices, you don't need another payment. So buy this month and make no payments until 2023. Go to DelcorInc.com or call 252-321-8868. Delcor, the service professionals.
I can't think of anyone who doesn't love a clean car, but how often do you actually go to the car wash? Does it take too long, or maybe it's just not a very nice place? Tommy's Express changes everything. Our wash is bright, inviting, clean, and fast.
I love the flat conveyor belt. So easy to pull onto, much smoother ride, and safer for my car.
And when you join Tommy Club, you can wash as often as you like for one low monthly price.
I save money and time.
We're Tommy's Express.
At the corner of Greenville Boulevard and Red Banks Road, Greenville.
Volleyball players need to be able to jump higher, dig lower, and move faster. Our athletic movement program at Kinetic this summer is just for volleyball players at ages 13 to 17. It's a 6-week program starting June 13th where you will learn the secrets on how to be more explosive, how to get the ball faster, and how to serve with power. Team up with our sports performance coaches and other players to sharpen your athletic ability and take your game to the next level. Sign up today at kptonline.com.
Thinking about takeout tonight? Familia can make everything real easy for you with a great selection of Italian food and more. Visit FamiliaNC.com to see the full menu featuring pizzas, pastas, salads, and homemade desserts. Place your order online or call 689-6330 and Familia will have your order ready in their convenient drive-thru window for pickup. Finish up a busy day with a great dinner for yourself or your family from Familia. Familia on Fire Tower Road near Pitt Community College.
This is Mark Washington with Max Sports Performance at Max Fitness. Our facility has reopened and is following all safety protocols. The best thing you can do to strengthen your immune system is, of course, to work out and exercise on a regular basis. I can assist you as your performance coach. You can also enjoy the benefits of a private facility. Avoid the crowds and work out at Max Fitness. Now is the time to get healthy. Max Fitness just off Highway 43 in the old Ace Hardware building behind Speedway in Greenville. Call me, Mark Washington, 902-4877.
Great food, great atmosphere, and great service is Ottavola Market Cafe. Ottavola is simply a restaurant that focuses on that, being a great restaurant. There's something for everyone at Ottavola. The menu offers a variety of great choices like pastas, pizzas, sandwiches, soups, salads, and seasonal rotating selections. Lunch or dinner, Ottavola is always the right call. Call ahead and get Ottavola to go, or stop by the bar for a drink with friends. It's simple. Come and eat at Ottavola Market Cafe, Red Banks Road next to Food Lion, and OttavolaMarket.com. Ottavola, pirates supporting pirates.
This is Pirate Radio, WGHB Farmville, W224EI Greenville, WDLX Washington, and W281CH Washington. You're listening to Hour 2 of Pirate Radio Live. This hour of PRL is brought to you by First Bank. Together with our customers, we're creating a world where individuals and communities thrive. Visit the First Bank location on Arlington Boulevard in Greenville for all your personal and business banking needs. Now, back to the show.
Welcome back. Do you need custom t-shirts, apparel, or promotional items for your business, organization, or event? Keep it local and print it local with University Sportswear. Contact them today at universitysportswearenc.com, the official sportswear provider of Pirate Radio. Now let's head back into PRL. Here is your host, Clip Brock.
All right, back with you, Pirate Radio Live. We're going to talk fantasy football this hour. Coming up in Hour 3, a former Pirate and a future Pirate. We got Bryce Williams and Bryce Weaver joining us on the show. Bryce Weaver committing recently to East Carolina, offensive lineman from D.H. Conley. So we will talk to him, and Bryce Williams will be in studio as well coming up in the final hour. So I got a follow from Ron Hunter, Tulane head basketball coach, and and then it spurned to this. I said I got Sergeant Slaughter, who follows everybody, so that's not as impressive as I thought it was. A couple nights ago, Ron Hunter last night. I'm on a nice follow train going here, and I picked a random person to try to get them to follow me, and I chose Lisa Loeb, singer of the '90s song "Stay." You say. So then Shirley said we should pick people for us to reach out to on Twitter to try to get people to follow us on Twitter.
Correct.
And this is going to be a new game we play every day, and we're going to play it until somebody gets a follow back. So,
okay.
Good luck. And Shirley said we should go around the room and tell other people who to follow.
Yes.
And who to try to get a follow from.
Correct.
All right, so I get to pick Chandler's, right?
That is correct.
So, Chandler, we had a discussion one time about television shows.
Mm-hmm.
And you're not a TV show watcher.
Mm-mm.
You don't know TV shows.
Nope.
But you said one show you got invested in was Under the Dome on CBS years ago.
Yeah.
So I Googled Under the Dome and I looked at their cast.
Okay.
And I looked for the female, the actresses on that show and tried to find somebody on Twitter. And I found Natalie Martinez.
Yes.
Natalie Martinez.
Yes.
Very attractive lady.
Yes.
She is at Natalie Martinez on Twitter. And Chandler,
I'm going to say at Natalie Martinez. I loved Under the Dome. Will you please follow me?
You're allowed to say whatever you want.
Yeah, you can say whatever you want to say.
But that is your test.
Okay.
That's your goal.
Get Natalie Martinez. I don't know why you're looking at me. Get to work over there.
All right.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
All right.
Start working.
You said at Natalie Martinez, right? I was looking it up myself too.
Yeah. At Natalie Martinez.
Right on.
So Chandler, if I were you, I'd probably follow her first. Or are you just going in cold? Like, yeah, don't even follow her.
Yeah.
Just be like, hey, Natalie, big fan. Need you to follow me. All right, Chandler, you have to give your person to CJ.
All right, CJ. I feel like this might be an easy one because I feel like he interacts with a lot of people on Twitter. This is an athlete. Used to be with the Steelers. Was with the Panthers. I'm going to go D'Angelo Williams.
Okay, I appreciate you thinking I have clout, but I'll give it a shot.
I mean, I feel like he follows and interacts with a lot of people on Twitter.
Yeah, also,
he did at one point in his career.
Maybe you could throw some wrestling in there in your request for him to follow you because he has been a part of that as well.
That's true.
All right, CJ, who are you requesting for Shirley?
I'm gonna keep it local with music because I know Shirley's a big music fan. Now, I do not know if you are a fan of this specific person, but I want you to give it a shot and go tweet at J. Cole.
Okay.
J. Cole?
Yes.
Really? He follows more people than Natalie Martinez does.
You have to ask J. Cole for a follow.
Okay, so J. Cole. Oops, I spelled it wrong.
Which kind of sounds like Jake Hole when you think about it.
Yep. All right, so I'm going to give him a follow.
That's going to be my rap name, Jake Hole.
Jake Hole. And then I'm going to tweet at Mr. Cole.
All right, so everybody's been given their assignments. Chandler just got her name typed in, so he's well on his way.
I forgot her name.
And we're off and running. C.W. Sloan is here in the Pirate Radio studios checking us out here. How are we doing as far as running a radio program, C.W.?
Top notch. That's why I'm here.
C.W., let's introduce you for the folks that don't know. What do you do in your real life?
Well, I've been teaching in Pitt County for 23 years, coaching for a little over half that, several different sports, and I'm enjoying my summer.
All right. Where are you employed currently?
I'm at Hope.
Hope. All right. HOPE.
Been there last 8, got 6 left. Enjoying it. Don't say the word assignments, by the way, in my summertime. Just say this is what we're doing, because then you brought me back to my
apologies.
My every day, yeah.
All right. So CW is his summer is his off time, and during that off time, he spends it preparing for the fantasy football season, among other things. But he is a fantasy football nut. How many leagues are you in already for 2022?
I've been traveling this summer, and
you saw the Braves and Cubs recently.
Yeah, we just got back from Chicago. So I've actually this is really my kickoff week right now. Usually, right after Father's Day is when I start really diving deep into it. So I'll be in a bunch of different leagues between now and August.
But you haven't done any drafts?
Done none.
None?
None.
That is a shocker.
Well, I have to admit, you normally don't get me on the horn until July.
Until after July 4th, probably?
So usually I've got, usually the week of the 4th is when I'm really, start. Like I said, between Father's Day and July 4th, I start diving deep. And I reached out to you the other day, and you were like, let's go. So I'm excited.
Fantasy has grown so much. It's not just a get around your buddies and draft and play. And you do a lot of best ball, which is very popular now, where you do your drafts like in July, you draft your team, and you don't check it out until December to see if you won, basically, right?
Right, yeah, you don't have to. But
you just sit it.
Yeah, you just keep it. It's 20 players that you draft. There are no kickers involved in this, so it's a limit. It's a quarterback, running back, receiver, tight end, and defense. And in some cases, no defense. But the DFS weekly betting is probably just as popular, if not more popular. I would say more popular now than best ball. So both of these two types of football gambling have eclipsed the season long, in my opinion, from what I've taken in terms of the websites and the podcast and
it's weird because you can't bet on a game like in North Carolina.
We almost could. It was pretty close, right?
We were close.
Yeah.
But you can play the weekly fantasy.
Sure.
Daily fantasy on your phones legally through DraftKings, through FanDuel, through that.
That's legal, I think, in all 50 states.
Yeah.
So it's essentially just the actual betting on the games that you can't do in North Carolina and most other states.
All right, Fantasy Football Primer 2022, where to begin? CW. Let's talk about a guy we talked about a lot this offseason because we have Tony Dunn and Chandler here talking Panthers quite a bit. Where would you draft Christian McCaffrey this year?
So I knew that question was coming in the early tilt of this discussion, and you can't really talk about McCaffrey unless you talk about what you feel like you want to do in the first round, what you want to accomplish. And I started, looking back at the draft and of last year and the year before, the recent drafts, and looking at the players and where they met what they were supposed to do, and looking at injury history, and essentially, I've taken this quote probably for the last 5 years. I think I heard it, which is you don't necessarily win your fantasy season in the first round, but you can lose it in round one. And so by that standard, you're essentially saying, the best first round draft pick is not always the guy that's going to have the most fantasy points. It's essentially the guy who you have the most safety in that is not going to ruin your season. And I basically broke down, when you look at the rankings, 14 or 15 players that more than likely in the ADPs currently that are going in the top 12 if you're doing a 12-team draft.
ADP stands for average draft position.
Right. And I could tell you I am in the minority when it comes to Christian McCaffrey. Right now his ADP is somewhere in the neighborhood of 2 to 4. So you're looking at an average of 3. I could tell you I'm not burning a first round draft pick on Christian McCaffrey. I'm
You're
not
just scared of the history.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at some of the players if you take away Jonathan Taylor and Cooper Kupp, who had a massive numbers that we did not expect to happen, even though we expected them to do very well, you basically need to get out of your first round pick. The first pick of the draft, you need to get, if you're doing a full PPR, you need to get somewhere in the neighborhood of 215 to 225 points. You don't need the 350 or the 430 that Cooper Kupp got last year. Now, naturally, obviously, you want that if you could get it, but you don't need that kind of production. What you can't have is a guy who gets you 120 or 98. And what happened last year with Derrick Henry, who was in the ADP of 3 to 4, Christian McCaffrey, same thing. He was 1 through 4. They cost a lot of teams their seasons. And you don't know what injuries are going to happen. I get that. No. I understand that. Everybody's susceptible to injury. Having said that, Christian McCaffrey has missed the last 2 seasons. Why do you expect him to play a full 17-game season when he's been injury-plagued the last 2 years? I just don't see it happening. And if you told me right now, hey, CW, he's going to play 17 games, fine, I'll take him. I just don't know that I can trust that. And you look at a lot of the players who are in the first round, the guys that are most consistent are these deep wide receivers. They are basically taking half or a little more than half of the first round now. When we were talking about this 5, 6, 7, 8 years ago, my mantra was always running back because you had to scoop them up. Well, I can tell you right now that zero running back theory is really starting to come to fruition, and it's in vogue. And I can tell you right now, if you feel like, I just suckered these guys, I just got 2 running backs, and you look at the other players that got 2 elite wide receivers, you could be in trouble. And Christian McCaffrey is one of those guys that if he hits, you're right. He's going to be, he's going to keep you in the playoffs more than likely. I don't think he's going to play 17 games, and I don't think he's going to get the targets and the catches and the touchdowns that he got 2 years ago in 2019.
By the way, if you haven't heard these discussions before, we usually only hit on 2 or 3 topics because CW explains things like a teacher would and is a little long-winded. But that's a good thing, CW.
Yes.
You're very prepared. And you're very thorough in your answers.
So in last year's rankings in the preseason,
it's not even done yet.
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna follow this up. It's not about Christian McCaffrey. How many players in the top 15 actually ended up in the top 15?
How many players drafted in the top 15 ended the season top 15 in points?
Yep.
Jonathan Taylor's one.
Okay. He actually wasn't he actually doesn't count on that because he was not an ADP of top 15.
He had to be close.
Yeah, he was in the late second, mid-second round, third round. He was in the 20s.
How about 4 players?
3.
3?
Yep.
Who were they? Do you remember?
Yes. They were Austin Eckler, who ended up in the top 10, and he was also preseason top 10. Devontae Adams was the second one. Let's see if we can guess the third. One more.
Dalvin Cook. I don't remember who got hurt last year. Joe Mixon, no.
You're not going to believe this one because he had such a down year for his status. Ezekiel.
He's out, yeah.
He actually finished in the top 11, but he was preseason 5.
Yeah.
So, but that's it. I mean, you're talking.
He's a good example too of a guy where he was valuable because he played all year, basically.
Yeah, he played all year. He averaged 60 some yards a game.
I know, yeah.
But he quietly finished in that top group. But he was. He was right after those elite 4 running backs that we were all expecting to be in the top 4.
Yeah.
So the bottom line is, I guess, when you're talking about McCaffrey, is you've got a bunch of players in the top 24. If you're talking 12-team drafts, first 2 rounds, where they are basically you're striking for you're looking for the home run, and there's a good chance you could strike out. And so it's a matter of whether or not you want to play it a little bit more safe than what some of the other players. So I'm going to play it safe.
Let's say Taylor and Henry, I'm just going by this Fantasy Pros here, go first. Who do you take third this year?
There's no doubt. In fact, I'm not taking Henry in the top. So like I said, going back to that point I'm making, I'm going to be consistent with this. I'm not taking those guys in the top 6 who've been injured more than once in the last 2 years. So I'm taking Cooper Kupp. And that's what I was. And a lot of that may signify, that's the recency bias. Well, let's not forget, Cooper Kupp finished 4th in wide receivers 3 years ago. Now, 2 years ago, he finished a little bit in the, I think, mid-20s, high teens. But you're talking about a receiver who finished in the top 5 at his position 2 of the last 3 years. It wasn't as though he, just miraculously came out of nowhere. I don't see the Rams' offense declining. They have every piece back with the exception of Beckham, and they're replacing him with Allen Robinson. So.
I was right about that last year in Matt Stafford. I was way off on Jonathan Taylor, I will admit. Any argument to taking Chase over Kupp or any other receiver over Kupp?
I certainly would not look down upon anybody who chose to do that because you're looking at taking the next big thing. And Chase is right on the heels of Kupp. I mean, he and Justin Jefferson along Kupp are the 1, 2, and 3 in the wideouts. Like, it's not even a discussion at that point. You might want to make a case for Stephon Diggs, but he's clearly going to have some other weapons in Buffalo that they're going to spread around. Gabriel Davis is coming on pretty strong. So I don't see Diggs being a first-round pick this year in terms of my discussion as far as like where I think he's going to end up. But no, you hit it on the head there. The Chase and Justin Jefferson are right behind Kupp in terms of the best wideouts and in the top 6 of the draft.
I'm just going to bounce around here. I tell you what, let's take a break, but I'm just going to throw out some questions. This is our first chat. We don't.
I'll be quicker next time.
No, that's fine. We don't have a narrow focus we're going on here. So I'm going to ask you old faces, new places. Devontae Adams in Las Vegas versus Tyreek Hill in Miami. Who you like there? I'm going to ask you some quarterback questions.
Yeah.
And Chandler, you're going to ask at least one question.
The question I was going to ask you just asked.
You're going to come up with another one. Have you been followed yet by Natalie Martinez?
No.
Dang. All right, let's take a break. We'll come back. More to go. Pirate Radio Live after this.
America's favorite light beer, Bud Light, is also the official beer of the ECU Pirates. When planning your fun times at the pool, river, beach, or backyard grilling, be sure to pick up some Bud Light at your favorite retailer. Bud Light carefully brews their beer to be perfect for anywhere there is fun, because when there's fun, Bud Light is there. Have fun this summer, Pirate Nation, and always stay in the game and drink responsibly. Bud Light, the official beer of the ECU Pirates, and proudly distributed by Carolina Eagle Distributing since 1989.
You've worked hard to make your business successful, and that's why it's really important to always have a bank that's in your corner when you need them. This is Chris Richards from First Bank, and our experienced team of local bankers includes Lee Watson, Ashley Capps, Bonner Latham, Josh Hooten, and Heath Nisbet. To get the business services that are right for your business, come and see one of our experienced team members at First Bank on Arlington Boulevard in Greenville. First Bank, together with our customers, we're creating a world where individuals and communities thrive. Member FDIC.
The Rick House is Eastern North Carolina's premier American-style restaurant and bourbon bar with daily specials. And here's the lineup. Mondays feature $7 margaritas and half-price appetizers. Tuesday is stuffed seafood night. Wednesday is date night. Thursday is roasted smoked lamb chop night. Fridays is prime rib night. And Saturday is Italian night and is also Fred and Wilma night with our 36-ounce bone-in tomahawk steak just like the Flintstones. And on Sunday, it's our legendary brunch from 10 to 2. The Rick House, American Provisions and Spirits, 710 Red Banks Road beside the bowling alley in Greenville.
Pirate fans, the 2022 football season is going to be one for the record books. East Carolina is coming off a 7-win bowl season, and 2022 is shaping up to be even better. The Pirates need you to pack Dowdy-Ficklin Stadium this fall with a great home slate that includes in-state rival North Carolina State. The American Conference schedule features home games against UCF, Memphis, Houston, and Navy. Season tickets are on sale for as low as $125. Get your tickets today by visiting ECUPirates.com.
UBE and PirateWear.com is excited to offer Pirate Nation the largest selection of new ECU merchandise and tailgate supplies ever. UBE has the best prices in town, so that makes UBE your one-stop shop for all things ECU. UBE does daily restocks of Champion, Adidas, and Under Armour. Don't forget to bring your young Pirates in to plunder the Crow's Nest, which is the only kids store dedicated to ECU. Plenty of free parking uptown in Greenville. Visit them at PirateWear.com. Go Pirates! Hi, this is Jeff Charles, and welcome inside the booth. The Cincinnati Reds' Tommy Pham was in the news last month for all the wrong reasons. Some thoughts on what's been a tough life for the 34-year-old is coming up next.
We are back, baby. It's back. The Pirate Radio Football Kickoff Party presented by Bud Light is back on Thursday, September 1st. Before the Pirates host the Pack Labor Day weekend, Pirate Radio will once again be throwing the best party of the year to kick off the football season. And to help us celebrate the start of Pirate Radio's 20th football season, we're excited to announce that this year's entertainment will be the Breakfast Club out of Atlanta, Georgia. Enjoy your summer, and we'll see you Thursday, September 1st. We are Pirate Radio, the voice of the Pirate Nation.
Before the Reds and Giants game, Cincinnati's Tommy Pham walked up to the Giants' Jock Peterson and slapped him in the face. As ridiculous as it sounds, the attack was provoked by what Pham said was a dispute over a fantasy league issue over a year ago. Pham's action excusable, but here's a little background on the Las Vegas native. His mom was just 17 when he was born. His dad was in prison at the time. His stepfather came into his life, and Pham claims that man stabbed him. And then just a year and a half ago, he was stabbed again during a fight outside a strip joint in San Diego. Obviously, this is a troubled young man. We hear a lot about angry young black men in America. Unfortunately, Tommy Pham fits that description. And oftentimes, it doesn't end well. Hopefully, he can get some help. Come on back again next time, and we'll visit Inside the Booth.
What's up? This is Bryson Worrell, and you're listening to Pirate Radio, the voice of the Pirate Nation.
You're listening to Hour 2 of Pirate Radio Live. This hour of PRL is brought to you by First Bank. Together with our customers, we're creating a world where individuals and communities thrive. Visit the First Bank location on Arlington Boulevard in Greenville for all your personal and business banking needs. Now, back to the show.
Welcome back. From sales to service, Greenville Auto World has all of your vehicle needs covered. You can shop all of their inventory now at greenvilleautoworld.net. If you're also looking for someone to service your vehicle, they have a full service and repair facility. They do brakes, oil changes, tires, inspections. They can repair any kind of vehicle. Greenville Auto World, across from Speedway at Bells Fork, and online at greenvilleautoworld.net. Thanks to Tim Sutton and Jim Rogers for their sponsorship of the program. Now let's head back into Pirate Radio Live. Here's Clip Brock.
All right, welcome back to the show. I'm a big fan of uncomfortable situations, and we're doing that right now via social media. We are going around the horn telling other people here who they need to try to get a follow from on Twitter. I gave Chandler Natalie Martinez. She was on the show Under the Dome. So now I'm looking at the requests that you guys sent out. I'm going to read those real quick. Chandler said, Natalie Martinez, can I please get a follow? I'm a huge fan. Was a big Under the Domer. Please. All right, Chandler, I love the desperation in your voice there. That was that's good. How you feeling about it?
I feel pretty good. I have Tony Dunn that I did not ask him to do this. He tweeted out and put a good word in for me.
What a bro. So what a bro, yeah.
I feel pretty good with the support that I have.
All right, CJ gave Shirley J. Cole, rapper. Shirley said, I am also from North Carolina, parentheses Greenville, and have family from Cumberland County. I work in local radio and hope to show up my coworkers if I can get a follow back. And a couple of emojis, hand emojis.
Hand emojis.
All right, Shirley, that's pretty good. You gave a local reference. Hey, we're both North Carolinians.
The connection, because he is from Fayetteville, which is in Cumberland County.
All right. Well, I wish you luck on your quest for a follow.
I'm not holding my breath because we need to add a stipulation that whoever we choose for the other person has to be relatively active on Twitter. J. Cole hasn't been on there since like April.
I was unaware. Would you rather tweet at Pooch Icy?
I think we need to not worry so much about regulations and just do this for our own embarrassment. That's the main thing I want to do here. Embarrass ourselves.
I want to win.
All right. Well, you're not going to win today.
Nope.
Good news is we're going to do this every day till we get a follow from a celebrity. So we're going to keep at it.
I mean, I embarrass myself on the daily, so this is nothing new.
CJ got D'Angelo Williams from Chandler. CJ went above and beyond, posted a picture of D'Angelo Williams in a TNA wrestling ring and said, hey, man, was just rewatching some of your TNA stuff. Lie. Hey. And I'm having a competition with some coworkers to get a celebrity to follow them. Would love to get a follow from you, bro. Bicep arm emoji.
Got to be relatable. Throw in an emoji.
So, CJ, that was pretty good throwing the picture in there.
Thank you.
I think you might have
You're
the
on
leg
track.
up. Yeah. So, there you go. There's an update on that. All right. While in the meantime, we're talking fantasy football here. As everything has just gone off road here. We'll get it back on road with Bryce Williams and Bryce Weaver coming up in hour 3 of today's show. C.W. Sloan hanging out. We'll talk some fantasy football with him as long as his calendar allows us to, as he's out of school this summer. All right, C.W. Chandler, I told you to come up with a question, and I want you to throw out your question so I don't steal it from you.
All right. Well, I thought of this question before. When I found out that CW was coming on the show today, I thought about this question because I'm actually very interested in the answer that he's going to give.
All right, great setup to this question.
Before we went to break, we were talking about old faces, new places. There's a lot, I feel like. You said 6, CW. You got Devontae.
6 in the top 60.
It's about 1 every 10 picks, 1 every round, give or take. That they're all receivers, actually. There are no running backs that you're really looking at, replacing that are in a different place.
But you got Devontae Adams going to Las Vegas. You got Amari Cooper going to Cleveland. Tyreek Hill going to Miami. I don't know if this is a top 60 player, but A.J. Brown is going to go join Devontae Smith in Philadelphia. Russell Wilson going to Denver. What what do you have to take into consideration when it comes to value of these guys when they go to a new environment, under new coaches, with new players, new quarterbacks for these receivers, new wide receivers for maybe Russell Wilson? So how much do you have to take into consideration of their value when they're on the move?
I think you look at it, the same considerations that you look at when you're drafting them, even if they're in the same place. So a really good example would be how you rate Davante Adams and Tyreek Hill. Now, for me personally, I'm looking at Davante Adams, and I can the eye test tells me he can go anywhere in the league and produce similar numbers to what he has right now. But when you're looking at a Tyreek Hill, where the majority of his offense comes from how fast he gets down the field and the target share that he gets, I feel like the offense is incredibly important and the quarterback throwing to him. And you look at his situation and you look at the situation in Vegas, and even though you might say Miami might have a better team, I still think Davante Adams is going to outplay him this year. I don't put a little. I guess somebody might put a little bit of credibility in the fact that they played in college together, Derek Carr and Davante Adams, but that's so long ago that doesn't translate that well with me. I mean, it's okay. It's not a negative, but it's certainly, I'm not drafting him because of that over Tyreek Hill. But I do feel like when you watch the Kansas City Chiefs, as all of us have watched over the last several years, you just see how potent that offense is. And you see how much Tyreek Hill meant to that offense. And are you going to get that same kind of connection with Tua in Miami and with a new offensive coordinator? So Tyreek Hill is still a special player. It sounds like I'm kind of downplaying Tyreek Hill. I'm not doing that. But if you told me I had to pick one or the other, there's no question I'm taking Davante Adams for those elements.
All right. You kind of answered my question on Chandler's question. But that's the way the cookie crumbles. I think you kind of stole my question.
I swear, on my grandmother's grave.
Whoa.
On my grandmother's grave. That's
That's
what I was going to ask the CW.
CW, you are an old, I wouldn't say old school, because you've changed with the times when it comes to fantasy and different leagues, but you're stubborn in that you're not going to draft a quarterback. So will you have Josh Allen in any leagues this year?
Probably not, no. And I'll give you a good reason why.
Yeah.
And I knew that the quarterback situation is very unique this year. So in crunching the numbers, and when you really look at how you draft a player like a quarterback, especially the quarterback position in fantasy, you only have to have one to start unless you're playing in which is now a very popular super flex league or a 2 quarterback league. But let's just assume right now everybody's
regular
in
league, one quarterback.
The difference between last year's numbers and quarterbacks 1, which was Josh Allen, and quarterback 12, if you want to go with the 12 standard, only 4 points a game. And now you take that and multiply that times 17, that's a lot of points.
It's a big number, but when you look at it per week, not that big.
It's not even a touchdown.
Yeah.
But then when you take the running back position,
now that includes all his points from rushing and everything. That's points.
Yeah,
okay.
Total points.
Right.
Josh Allen had 23.7 fantasy points a game. Matthew Stafford was the 12th quarterback in a normal league, and he had 19.4. So if you just wait and you don't even have to take the 12th quarterback. You take the 9th or the 10th or the 6th. If you even want to wait not that far, but you want to be right in the mid-range, you're still only 2 points away from the guy who took Josh Allen or Patrick Mahomes 2 or 3 rounds ahead.
And for those not following, why wouldn't you just take the best quarterback? Well, while that guy's taking a quarterback and these other people are, you're stocking up on receivers, tight ends, running backs, better players than they are.
So the running back position last year, it was a 9-point differential between the starting running back and the 12th running back in that class.
Multiply that's a lot of points.
That's a lot of points. And I haven't even gotten to the biggest disparity. Which position do you think that is?
Tight end.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, that's because there's only a few worth having.
Right. And so you're actually doing the complete opposite for the tight end position, that, in my opinion, for this year, than you are with a quarterback. In the last 2 years, I'll share this with you. The first 2 tight ends finished with 280 and 312 points. That was Travis Kelce and Darren Waller.
I got a question from Tony Dunn here in a moment. I don't want to forget, but go ahead.
And then if you go to the 12th tight end, he only averaged a little bit less than 10.4 points a game. So it's a 10-point difference. In 2021, it was the same. 301 and 262 were 1 and 2. Travis Kelce and Mark Andrews, or actually vice versa, Mark Andrews, Travis Kelce. The 12th tight end finished with 159. So you're talking about a 17.5 point per game versus a 9 point. To me, I think that's where you have to make decisions. I don't want to draft a tight end in the second round. I'd rather draft a running back. Well, when you do that, you're giving up the elite status of that position, which are very, very few. I think there are only two. I still think it's going to be the two that we had last year. Some people might argue Kyle Pitts gets into that discussion. I still think it's a Mark Andrews, Travis Kelce dance for this 2022 season.
What happened to, remind me about Waller last year? What did he do?
Waller had a couple of, he would be more like a best ball tight end where he had some big games. He had a lot of nagging injuries. There were a couple games that he didn't play, but it was a lot of injuries where he would play up until halftime and then you would barely see him again the rest of the game. He made a lot of games. He played a lot of games. He just was continuously getting dinged up and hurt. And then
it feels like, though, I agree. I mean, at the very, very tip top, you got a couple, but it does feel like after 6, like after.
I can't even go that far.
You don't like to go that far.
It's even, and I normally don't care about that position. I normally like to punt that position and do exactly what I'm telling people this year not to do, which is, and here's the thing. You are looking at that position where if you take the top 2 or 3 tight ends, you know pretty much every single week you have won that tight end battle.
Yeah.
I mean, 15 out of 17 weeks, you are matching somebody else, and if you're playing the head-to-head, and you're going to win that position every week.
So if you get Kupp and Mark Andrews rounds 1 and 2 this year.
Very, very popular.
that might be what you want to do.
Yes, 100%.
All right. Tony Dunn trying to catch you in something here, CJ. Or CW. Sorry, CJ's in there.
I bet it's the Jonathan Taylor.
No, he says, with the rationale you talked about with Christian McCaffrey, does that make Kelce a risk?
Kelce's been the number 1 tight end 5 of the last 6 years, and then last year he was number 2. So what injuries is he talking about?
He's not here to speak for himself, so I can't.
There are no injuries that Kelce has sustained where he's missed 9 games, 10 games, 12 games, 13 games, and McCaffrey has done that 2 years in a row.
Tony, you have unsuccessfully tried to get CW.
Yeah, I mean...
he meant... Okay, all right. He says, I meant Kittle, not Kelce.
Yeah, I don't like Kittle in the top 5. I never
tried to expand the tight ends, and CW shut me down.
Yeah, Kittle's in the 6 through 10, but you won't see him on one of my rosters either for that very same reason.
Okay.
And assuming Deebo Samuel signs in the next 3 weeks, which I think he will, I mean, the targets are still going to go to him and Brandon Ayuk. I still think Kittle is a phenomenal player. But when you're talking about the injury history, you have to consider it. He's just going too high for me. It's not that I wouldn't want him. If you told him in the 8th round, sure, I'd love to have him. But I'm not taking him in the 3rd round where his ADP is.
I admittedly have not thought about this too much. Right. But who has been hurt the most by offseason moves? We've talked about guys going new places, but how about guys left behind? And Tyler Lockett came to mind immediately.
He and Sam, DK. 100%. He and DK.
And then Pitts, maybe not as much because they could find a way to get him the ball, whoever's the quarterback in Atlanta.
Pitts isn't hurt as much. He's a second-year player.
But like Lockett and Metcalf, that's tough. Now, what if they go and add maybe Baker or somebody, that changes. But right now their quarterback is Drew Lock, right?
Right. And they continue. And don't sleep on the fact that, and this, I'm not going to say that I'm moving these receivers up my draft boards because they signed him, but it looks like a stalemate's going to come up with Jimmy Garoppolo, and I don't think any of the other teams are going to look at Garoppolo and say, let's sign him or let's take his $24 million, which is what will have to happen if he's on a roster and they keep the contract that he currently has unless he decides to change his contract. So if they wait for him to get cut, you could definitely see Carolina and Seattle looking at taking him, and they're not going to trade for him because San Francisco's not trading to anybody in the division. So you may get an uptick on those 2 receivers. I'm not touching anybody for the Seattle Seahawks in 2022. Not a player.
Tony says, what about? He says DJ Moore 2nd round.
2nd round? No.
But DJ Moore, I feel like Darnold or whoever the quarterback is can still go out and give him plenty of targets.
Right.
It happened last year with DJ Moore, right?
And the problem is that he doesn't get in the end zone enough, and I know that there are people. He could easily change that. He could end up with 10 touchdowns this year and change all of our minds. But again, sometimes you've got to wait till you see it in a player. And if he's played with the same team and they're using the same philosophy, I don't see them changing the philosophy of saying, well, let's give him twice as many targets in the red zone when they haven't been doing it for the last 3 years. Great player. I'll have him on teams, on my best ball teams because he does have really good games. but I'm not drafting him in the ADP that he currently has right now. And I don't know that he's going to take 2 or 3 rounds up from what he was a year ago just because Christian McCaffrey's not on the field.
I'm looking for the best receiver, the top-rated receiver with the worst quarterback. And hold on, I just had one here.
Best receiver with the worst.
Like Debo, he does so much, though. Do you worry about the quarterback situation? You mentioned his name earlier.
Trey Lance.
Right.
Well, Garoppolo won't be there, so Trey Lance will be Debo's
So do you worry about that at all?
Well, he's first time he's starting second year. The interesting thing about Debo, and right now he's going in the mid second round. If everybody starts to say how good Trey Lance looks in camp, he's going to shoot up the draft boards, especially if he signs. That'll be the key.
I'm looking at the tiers, ADP,
you make
whatever.
a good case for Debo.
I would rather have Diggs, Adams, CeeDee Lamb.
Those are good quarterbacks, but I'll tell you
Mike Evans. I would take all those guys over Debo.
If Debo has signed a contract, you have to think about Debo and the way he does his route tree. He doesn't go like a Tyreek Hill. In fact, half of his yards come from rushing. He doesn't need Trey Lance.
I know, but he don't want to do that anymore.
Well, if he signs the contract, he's going to do what San Francisco asked him to do, in my opinion. I would consider drafting him in the late first round if he is signed on the day that you end up having a draft.
I don't like A.J. Brown as much on his new team than I did with Tennessee.
You don't trust Jalen?
Not really, no.
I've seen a lot of the ADP of Jalen Hurts right now is just a tick above Tom Brady.
I was trying to see how far I would put Terry McLaurin as far as best receivers with worst quarterbacks.
I'll give you somebody who makes the category with Debo. And to me, it's Tyreek Hill is obviously
he's one of
somebody.
them too.
Here's another one that you got to consider: Deontay Johnson for Pittsburgh. You look at the fact that they've got a quarterback that hasn't been there. They got a rookie and a guy that has only been on this team for a couple of months, and Deontay Johnson's going to want the ball. Juju's no longer there. I don't think Claypool is going to hurt his stock or his value because Deontay Johnson's always gotten the ball that he's been there the last couple of years. So you just got to ask yourself, Pittsburgh in the last couple of years have been notorious for just chunking the ball to the 5 and 6 and 7 yard range. And if that's going to continue with these quarterbacks, I don't see his numbers dropping. In fact, they may even go up. Najee Harris is going to command a lot in the passing game, so that may hurt his stock a little bit. But Deontay Johnson is definitely somebody that I look to draft based on the offense that they have in Pittsburgh right now.
Charlotte, let's take another break. We'll come back one more segment with C.W. Sloan talking fantasy football. This is fun for me. Hopefully you guys enjoy it. And if you don't play fantasy, at least it's kind of like an NFL update for you too. Who's playing where? Because a lot of moves this offseason. Some moves still to come potentially at the quarterback position with Baker Mayfield and Jimmy G. We shall see. All right, we'll take a break, come back. More to go. Pirate Radio Live after this.
The only way to top a sub is with real red wine vinegar made from red grapes and no food coloring. And the only way to get it is at Jersey Mike's, because authentic ingredients make a sub above. Jersey Mike's would like to dedicate the next 3 seconds to our new grilled portobello mushroom and Swiss sub. Trust us, it tastes good too, because fresh ingredients make a sub above.
Welcome to US Cellular. Yeah, hi. I want a new phone for free, but not just any phone. I want the newest, fastest, most storage holding 5G unlimited data using phone in here for free. Sure, your choice. Really? Yep.
At US Cellular, we put you first. So choose any phone from any brand free. Plus, get unlimited data for just $30 a month. US Cellular, America's locally grown wireless. Terms apply. See uscellular.com for details.
We all love using Uber Eats, DoorDash, and grocery pickup. It makes life so much easier. Well, now there is cellular delivery, and the team at Cellular Warehouse has perfected the process. They will deliver your new phone right to your door with all your information loaded on the new phone. And the best thing is there is no charge for this awesome service. And you don't have to waste half the day sitting in a Cellular store. Call Toby Williams today at 252-799-7051 and let his team of experts make your cellular delivery today. Cellular Warehouse, your local U.S. Cellular authorized agent, serving all of Eastern North Carolina.
This isn't your regular cola, so this isn't your regular cola ad. No beach parties or family barbecues here, just Nitro Pepsi, the first cola ever infused with nitrogen. So forget everything you thought you knew about soda, because that nitrogen gives us a whole new experience. Think an infusion of smaller bubbles for a cola that's got a lighter, smoother texture. And don't get me started on the pour. You don't pour this like any other cola. We're talking turn the can completely upside down and watch as those bubbles cascade into the glass to create a frothy, luxurious foam topping. Can your cola do that? I didn't think so. Unless you've got your own Nitro Pepsi, in which case cheers to your great taste. Because you already know that the only thing better than the pour is the unapologetic cola taste. What else is there to say? From the creamy foam to the smooth texture to its unbelievably delicious flavor, this is cola like you've never had it before. Time to bring your taste buds to the next frontier. New Nitro Pepsi. Smooth, creamy, delicious.
Pepper, oh no they didn't! Papa John's just took their signature pepperoni and hand-stuffed it inside that garlic-kissed crust. Oh, now that's an epic pepperoni stuffed crust pizza like no mouth has ever seen!
Hey Pirate fans, the Papa John's Epic Pepperoni Stuffed Crust One-Topping Pizza is only $13.99 and is an MVP move for game day or any day. Place your order online at papajohns.com and sign up for Papa Rewards. Papa John's, the official pizza of the ECU Pirates.
East Coast Grading and Utilities is your source for clearing, hauling dirt, and concrete work. East Coast Grading and Utilities handles all sewer and water issues as well.
I'm David Vaughn. Whether putting in a new subdivision or helping you with any and all of your drainage problems, I can get the job done. Call me at 531-7494.
No job is too big or too small. East Coast Grading and Utilities. Friends helping friends. 531-7494 for East Coast Grading and Utilities.
Hey Pirate fans, this is Cliff Godwin. Summer is upon us, and I want to invite you to attend our CG23 Youth Camp here at East Carolina University. We will offer 3 sessions of camp. All camps will be held at Clark LeClaire Stadium, and campers will get baseball instruction from the ECU baseball staff and players. Campers will play games each day, and each camp ends with our famous Pirate Slip and Slide. Full day and half day sessions offered. For more information, visit cliffgodwinbaseballcamp.com. See you there, and go Pirates!
Pirate Radio.
We'll strap it on with anybody, anywhere. It doesn't matter. I know this. I want to win or lose with the group that we have in our locker room.
The voice of the Pirate Nation. You're listening to Hour 2 of Pirate Radio Live. This hour of PRL is brought to you by First Bank. Together with our customers, we're creating a world where individuals and communities thrive. Visit the First Bank location on Arlington Boulevard in Greenville for all your personal and business banking needs. Now, back to the show.
Welcome back. Did you miss a show on Pirate Radio? Well, you can listen to all of Pirate Radio's archived local programming by subscribing to us on Apple Podcasts, SoundCloud, or Spotify. Subscribe today by going to the podcast app on your iPhone or Apple device and search for Pirate Radio Audio Archives. Now let's head back into PRL. Here is Clip Brock.
All right, wrapping up hour number 2, we got Bryce and Bryce. New show idea on Pirate Radio. Bryce Williams, Bryce Weaver, former Pirate, future Pirate. We'll talk to those guys coming up in the 5 o'clock hour. C.W. Sloan hanging out, our fantasy guy during these summer months here at Pirate Radio. Talking fantasy football. Chandler, you are looking at me. Do you have an update on something?
Yes, I got an update on my follow with Natalie Martinez. No, she has not followed me, but I'm getting some great support from some people. CJ says, Chandler, thank you so much for letting me borrow your Lamborghini so I could take my dog to the vet yesterday. I parked it back in your second vacation home in Santa Monica if you need it again soon. Thank you, CJ. And then John Moody says, Chandler is always the 3rd to 4th person to lend a helping hand to someone in need. Give this guy a follow. So I appreciate
Wow, you got support coming on your side.
I appreciate it, guys. This could help me get the follow from Natalie Martinez under the Dome Store.
Very good. Good luck on your follow. Lisa Loeb has been MIA as of today. Maybe I should put out a video of me singing her song and send that to her. That probably wouldn't work.
No.
But do you want to hear Chandler and I sing Brooks and Dunn? Stick around for the 5 o'clock hour because it's coming. All right, CW. Give me a breakout guy in 2022. A guy that you, as you put it, I said, who's a guy that you want mid to late rounds? You don't know if you have an answer on that, but you do have a guy who's going to have his best season in the NFL so far, and that guy is who?
Marquise Hollywood Brown.
Old face in a new place.
Yeah,
right?
he's projected right now in the 60s, and so you're looking at in a 12-team draft somewhere in the 5th round, in the 6th round for a 10-teamer, and everything is set up for him. He is going to be in the best offense, and as far as passing goes, that he's been in. You know, Baltimore has not been an offense that traditionally likes to pass. DeAndre Hopkins is going to miss the first 6 games of the season.
Forgot about that.
Kyler Murray. You got the offense that these guys are running.
Can you remind me of the pecking order of the Cardinals again? So they had, was it Moore, Young?
And he's only a second-year player. So Moore is a second-year player. Hopkins is the number 1, but he's going to be out the first 6 weeks. And then Christian Kirk went to Jacksonville.
Christian Kirk's gone.
So he's going
is AJ Green still playing? I know that's
Green
not a
is
huge
still
factor.
signed, yes.
Okay.
But
it's really Rondale Moore who could take that next jump, but you think Brown's going to be...
But Brown's been in the league 2 years longer, and the reason why they picked him up, we can talk about this in terms of how the quarterback and the receiver played in college together, just like we were talking earlier in the segment, but no, everything just speaks that they traded a lot to get him. A lot of people were, raising the eyebrows of how much it took to get him. It was even less than what it took to get A.J. Brown, and we all think of A.J. Brown a much better player than Marquise Brown.
Yeah.
So naturally, if they're going to take that kind of capital to get him and put him in Arizona, they're going to use him. And when I can't speak enough about the fact that you're losing one of the best players that they had on the team in Christian Kirk, and you also have 6 weeks out for DeAndre Hopkins. So I do feel like this fits perfectly for him leading the team in targets, leading the team in yards, maybe not in touchdowns if Hopkins comes back and has a good year. But you also have to consider, too, how he actually took a leap from his rookie year to his second year in Baltimore, where they basically run 70%, 65% of the time. The only thing that really stumped him last year were the drops. And if he can shore that up, I can assure you he will be a much better player than where you're getting him at 64 to 68, which is what his ADP is right now.
I think I might be. Now, I'm a little nervous on this. I don't know if I feel it in my heart yet, but it's on the tip of my lips. Like last year, I don't want to pick the same guy to be a breakout 2 years in a row. Last year, I thought CD Lamb was going to finish like top 5 to 10 receiver.
As did I.
And I kind of want to pick him again. But another guy I'm looking at now, and I don't fully know the situation. I do like Cortland Sutton. But Jerry Jeudy is a guy that I think I might try to roster a lot this year.
And in our league, I drafted him as well, in wherever he was.
So you still got him?
I still have him, unless we decide to give him up. And I don't know that I will. Actually, it depends on how much the capital is. We got to check our salary caps in order for that. But much like CD Lamb, I took him a year too early. And so I do think everything that we were thinking about last year translates.
But you have to do that in fantasy. You
do.
You can't take them too late. You have to take them early.
Right. And not only that, we took him last year thinking that Drew Lock was going to be the quarterback. Now look who's the quarterback is going to be when we're talking about Russell Wilson. You can make a case that they don't have any kind of connection right now, and we'll have to see how the offseason goes and listen to the training camps and see what they're saying. Be careful that you don't listen too much, because sometimes that can be a red herring. But Jerry Jeudy is somebody who was an elite talent in college.
He's his new Metcalf.
He's not been an elite passing offense in Denver, and now it looks like they're ready to open up. So
he's also had some injury stuff, which is my main concern. It's not about him and Wilson connecting; it's him being on the field.
And if you look at what Russell Wilson did with Tyler Lockett and with DK Metcalf in a heavy run passing offense as well, you do realize that he can put up numbers if he allows it to. So we just have to look and see, how well Russell Wilson is playing at his age right now. I think it's possible. I don't think Jerry Jeudy is somebody that I'm avoiding by all costs. Just make sure you don't overdraft it.
Chandler, you said that you're being offered trades already. Is somebody trying to give you Juju or get Juju?
They're trying to give me Juju, and basically said for anybody on my roster.
So how many keepers do you keep in that league?
I'd have to look. I'm not sure.
So are you interested in Juju?
Not really.
Should he be interested in Juju?
I be?
Depends on it's all to the cost dependent. Whatever you're giving up. I mean he's going to start. I mean he's replacing a Tyreek Hill, and of course you're not going to replace a lot of the things that Tyreek Hill does, but you do have to take into consideration the offense that he's in, and then who are the players that are ahead of him. And think about it. More than likely he's probably going to be a number 2 target on an elite offense, with Travis Kelce being number 1.
I came across a article on ESPN. It's NFL's 10 most intriguing second-year players for
He's one of them.
2022.
Oh, yeah.
I'm just going to
Intriguing.
throw
Second-year players, yeah.
Yeah, I'm just going to throw a couple out there. Number 1, Zach Wilson, New York Jets.
You're only taking him if you're in a 2-quarterback league and you want him as your third quarterback as a backup. I just don't see him especially in a 1-quarterback league showing any kind of. He's not going to finish in the top 12 in my opinion. I just don't see that happening.
Najee Harris,
first round. He's a first round. He's going to go in the first round in pretty much 90% of drafts.
He's going to be the guy. If you like volume.
Mm-hmm.
If you like volume, you may not get the yards and numbers, but you can
touch the ball a lot.
You can get a 1-yard touchdown, and you're going to get a lot of carries and a whole lot of catches too. I would imagine, right, CJ?
And the one thing that you can also consider as far as his tick up is, Mitchell Trubisky is going to be the starting quarterback going in. We'll just assume right now he's the starting quarterback. He's not going to be throwing the ball in the red zone the way Ben Roethlisberger. Roethlisberger loved throwing in the red zone to Claypool, to Pat Freiermuth. You're not going to see that. So what's going to end up happening is they're going to run the ball more. I see more touchdowns this season for Najee Harris, even if the receiving yards and catches go down a little bit, and they may come down a little bit because he caught a lot of balls.
All right, third and final one that I'll throw out there, Justin Fields.
No. The quarterbacks, the second-year quarterbacks, the quarterbacks are too deep to worry about these guys. He does have legs. Zach Wilson, not quite as much as Justin Fields. I just don't really care much for the offense.
Now, Chandler, if you're in a league like we're in and you draft one of these guys late thinking 2 years from now they'll be good, go for it. But this year, no.
For one quarterback leagues, I'm not drafting either one of those, no.
All right, CW, we're off next week. Hopefully we can do this a few more times, though, this summer. Throughout July.
We have a lot of segments we could do. I think you and I have come up with over the last couple of years, and just let me know what day you want.
All right,
I'm here.
Let's do it again. That was fun. I love talking fantasy football. I could do it year round, so we'll do it again in July. Let's take a break. We'll come back. Bryce joining us. Bryce Williams, former Pirate tight end, and Bryce Weaver, future East Carolina offensive lineman. That's on the way when we return on Pirate Radio Live after this.
In studio with Jeff Stein from Brown & Wood. What's new, Jeff?
Everybody's thinking we're having some inventory issues in the car business, which some of it's true. For used vehicles, Brown & Wood has a lifetime powertrain on every vehicle you buy from us, new or used. So even when you buy a used vehicle from Brown & Wood, you have lifetime powertrain. We cover the engine, transmission for as long as you own the car.
Brown & Wood, your #1 dealership in Greenville and the home of the